Afternoon, everyone. Sorry for a little bit of a late start, but we always have these technical things going on. Hope you all are doing well. We have a pretty awesome agenda today on the schedule, which I'm excited to engage with you all on. And we have a few guests coming on as well in a few minutes, but want to give everybody a chance to come in the room and also be able to join the discussion. I should have a new commercial little break, hopefully. That's also part of the reason why we start a little bit late right now, is because I was like editing it last minute. That's how these things go. So let's see if we can upload it. But we have, just so everybody know who's coming in, we have a few of my team members who are coming on today in like literally probably less than 15 minutes, going to join the discussion. And as you see the thumbnail, we're talking about the affordability of housing in Jamaica, and just trying to get perspective. We did a small, or I should say a short survey to kind of help us start the discussion, which I will share with everybody. And then at about 2:00 or so, we actually have a representative from the NCB mortgage loan department. So looking forward to having them on and getting their perspective. And the way that I really want to do this and like kind of position this is, it's going to be an education. Like, it's not only an education for you all out there, but it's also going to be an education for me as well. So I think not just in terms of what I'm going to learn from my fellow team members, but also from a mortgage perspective and understanding the banking process. And that I'm excited for as well. And I hope people learn from this as well in the audience, and kind of like, I know I am. I'm going to learn from this as well, from the mortgage perspective. So yeah, as usual, let me know where everybody is chiming in from. What city, what state, what country. I want to hear it all. Let me know. It's a nice, let me switch that picture up for you there. It's a pretty nice day here, nice and beautiful, nice and calm. Right, yeah, turn it. Sorry, just trying to get the adjustment here. All right, we got the comments. Hello, Lorraine. Kick rocks. Hello, all. Lorraine's on island. Awesome. Awesome. Wait, is that the island, Long Island? K Natural, nice to see you. Rockman, always good to see you, man. Thanks for joining. So let's switch back to this, and we can throw me picture in picture right there. So we got the nice, beautiful view for everybody. As I mentioned before, we got have our guest joining soon. Donna Bryce, sorry, first comment. I didn't even acknowledge you. Afternoon. Thank you for joining us here, Donna, as always. Sherry joining from Toronto. Awesome to see you. So just a little bit of background on today and the discussion that we're having. We put out I would say a very informative interview with no, I wouldn't say interview. It was a clip from ThropX 2022, and it was the portion where Noel was talking from Value Levy Associates, realtor, and he was talking about the real estate boom that is happening in Jamaica and continues to happen. And it was, in my opinion, it was very informative. I know a lot of people at ThropX learned a tremendous amount of information and got some insight into why the real estate boom has been happening, where are some hot spots, what you need to do to get in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there was I would say, if you haven't seen it, like, please watch it, but I would say an overwhelming, hold on. So I would say there, like, what I didn't expect is like kind of like an overwhelming majority of the comments were had like a negative connotation, and me and the team, like, we were all surprised. We're like, man, this is crazy. It's like such good information of the reality of what's happening in Jamaica, and to our surprise and perhaps even our ignorance, we thought this would be more of a positive take and people would be more excited than anything else about the forward movement of the of the real estate industry in Jamaica. And it was more so more so, I would say, a combination of fear, concern, unfairness, the widening of the wealth gap, which we're going to get into, all of these elements of that. And so that was the majority of the comments, and also like in a sense, I would say, a general sense, a negative outlook for the well-being of the average Jamaican. And that was the majority of the comments. And we had this whole healthcare program lined up for today, and that was what the live stream was supposed to be about, because we were talking about that last Sunday and the cost of it, and we did all this research to bring to you on the live stream today. But we had to kind of audible at the not at the last minute, but we audibled and switched to really discussing housing in Jamaica and bringing the conversation to the table, I would say, and kind of taking it from the comment section and bringing it to the live stream here. And not that we scrap the healthcare discussion, that's definitely going to happen. We'll push it back probably next Sunday. Hopefully we'll get to that because all that research did not go to waste. And I think it's a very, very important discussion and another subject matter to bring kind of perspective to and understanding about the healthcare system in Jamaica, the cost, the quality, etc. And so we will be doing that next week. But again, we had to switch gears and really respond to what I would say was more of an immediate concern or immediate issue. And we as a team, like I said in the description of this video, like, we were talking about it extensively this entire week. That was kind of all we talked about. And it was more so, I would say, what was driving is like kind of my curiosity of understanding the team's perspective on like what they thought about it and how they felt as young people. I think everybody is on the team is like in their early 30s or younger. And so we had this like two very long discussions on this. And then initially it was in preparation for Sunday, and that's kind of how we came up with the decision for today to make this the subject. And then for me, it was like so rich, and like I learned so much, and I think everybody learned like so much from each other, that we were just like, all right, why don't we bring this conversation to the live stream? And that's why or how I invited the team to come on today. I didn't put a gun to their head. This was totally optional, and it was up to them if they wanted to come on and discuss. And everybody pretty much said yes, and they agreed to it. And so, like I said, probably in about 5 minutes or so, I'll start bringing some people on, and we'll open up the discussion about housing and affordability of housing in Jamaica. We also put out a very small survey, which I'm going to share the results with everybody. And this is by no means, and I'll repeat this before we get into the survey results that we sent out, this is by no means supposed to be a all-encompassing, I would say, and also conclusive results. Like, this is a sample size of less than 20 people. So obviously the sample size that we're using today in our discussion, we're talking about 4 or 5 people max. And these are just getting different perspectives from the people on the team. And this absolutely does not represent Jamaica and does not represent the average person or anything like that. This is purely a discussion. And I do believe that this is going to be a continuous discussion. And when I do open up the conversation with everybody, I do want to, I think the most important thing here is to bring perspective more than anything else. And then also, like, how I looked at it as well in the discussions that we were having internally is like really listening to my team and hearing what they had to say about their perspective and the perspective of their peers, and kind of taking it from there. So before we bring on the team, I do want to get into some comments because I know once we get going, it might be hard to get back into them. So where did I leave off? Hello, Dale. Thanks for joining. Good afternoon, everyone from Virginia. K Natural chiming in from St. Catherine. Awesome. Hello, Dolores. Portlander watching from London. Awesome. All the way across the pond. Peter V checking in from Michigan. Nice to see you, Peter. Margaret, afternoon. Brother B says, good morning from Philadelphia after a lovely week walking up and down on that beautiful beach. Happy to have seen you, Mr. Throp, jogging on the beach. Oh, that was you. Okay, what's up, man? What's up, man? Yeah, I ran into him. I think it was last week or the week before, on one of my morning runs on the beach. Awesome. Thank you so much for saying hello. I appreciate that. Sash says, hi all. I'm eagerly waiting on the thoughts on the state of housing on the island. Awesome. It should be a good one. Thanks for joining, Sash. Keita says, good afternoon, Throp and everyone. Natasha York says, greetings, everyone, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. Throp, I'm so grateful for your platform. I look forward to the wealth of information to come. I am moving back in 2024. Thank you in advance. Awesome. Congratulations on making the decision to move, and best of luck with it all. Yvonne T, hi, all. Lorraine Bailey chiming in from Massachusetts. Sasha's the farmer from Austria was very interesting. I had to share it. Awesome. Thank you for sharing it. And if you haven't seen it, like it's Martin Zivkovic. I'm probably butchering his name. We just put out a video yesterday on farming in Jamaica. So Martin is a farmer here in Jamaica who is originally from Austria and Europe. And he is the founder, owner, and operator of Austro Jam, Austria and Jamaica as one combined. And it was just such a riveting conversation. And he brought like so much perspective about farming in Jamaica, how lucrative it is, the opportunities, the challenges that he has in it, and the changes that he can see that can be made. And he's making like a huge difference in farming in Jamaica, a huge difference in the community in St. Elizabeth. And big ups to Martin. And if you haven't seen it, I definitely encourage Candice, if you can just throw the link in the comments for Martin's clip from ThropX 2022. And I would say like all the speakers, like, and if you were there, whether virtually or in person, you can vouch, like all of the speakers are like absolutely amazing in ThropX. And they just did, I just learned so much, and I think everybody there learned so much as well. So please check out that video, that clip with Martin. Just so rich, and he was super transparent and open about his information in farming and his experience. And I would say the one takeaway, and I forget, and I'm sorry if you're watching this and I don't credit you, but somebody in the comments of that video put farming, not flossing. And like, that was kind of like, and if you watched it, you kind of know the joke that I'm referring to. And I won't spoil it for those who haven't watched it yet, but really extremely informative conversation. And I encourage you, if you haven't watched it already, you can go ahead and do that as well. And I also will say that we're going to put it out tomorrow, Candice, hopefully, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, like in just the audio only version. So I don't think I made that announcement last week, but we are pushing our audio only version. So if you want to listen to that conversation in your car or doing laundry, like in your headphones, and not have to open YouTube, you can do that. You can do that now, and it's On Deck. The name of the podcast is On Deck with Throp, and wherever you listen to your podcast, you can pick it up. So that should be out tomorrow. Let's keep going through the comments here. Phoenix is me. Peace. Checking in from Newark, New Jersey. Awesome. Copeland chiming in from Florida. Shayna, what's going on? Good to see you. Justin, you're in Nashville, Tennessee, man. You are all over, man. All over. B. Isaiah says, Throp, I hope you understand where I was coming from on the topic of farming. Yesterday pod with Martin. Yeah, I got you, man. I think I mean, I love the perspective. I mean, and I love, and everybody doesn't have to agree with everybody. With what I'm doing here is like, I'm just trying to present information and experiences to the table and platform. So I definitely always appreciate your input, B. Isaiah, and please continue, and please continue to participate and throwing in your 2 cents wherever you feel necessary. Kuya Cuddy, hello. Kuya says, I am so happy you're talking about this. This is my biggest culture shock issue because real estate agents are very difficult to work with in JA. I would say some. I've had I've heard of horror stories, but the people I work with, I can tell you, I can co-sign on all of them, honestly. Carrie Ann Anderson. I love the inspirational channel. That farmer from Austria was great motivator for me. Awesome. Donna Bryce says, really enjoyed the interview with Martin. Brief period of audio issues in the second half of the video, but all good. Yeah, I saw that. I heard that, unfortunately. So I'm actually going to cut that part out. We have these tools in YouTube where we can cut certain parts out in chunks. So I'm going to do that shortly, hopefully today. As a matter of fact, I can find some time. Eugene Brian says, homeownership is increasingly unaffordable here in London, particularly for young professionals. I am eagerly waiting to hear the perspective from Jamaica. Thanks. I hear you, Eugene, and we're going to definitely bring that perspective, and you hear me talk about that shortly, man. The comments are coming in fast and furious. We are almost ready. I know Candice is there. Candice, can you see where the others are and ask them to hop on so we can just do it? Okay, yep, she's calling. Okay, cool. She's just trying to get everybody else on the call so we can get things started. But yeah, I hear you, Eugene. It's something that is, and this is kind of really the basis of I would say where the conversation is starting, and it's happening everywhere, and it's kind of crazy. I always talk about Brooklyn. I always talk about New York, and in the comments, people are saying Kingston is not New York or Kingston is not Manhattan. And I get that. But the thing that I think is important for people to understand is like the same thing that is happening there has happened there is happening in Jamaica. And it's not that I'm saying that it's the same thing or they're comparable markets or anything like that. It's an analogy. And just like Eugene is saying that it's becoming unaffordable in London, like the same program that's happening in London, the same program that's happening in England, it's essentially happening here. And I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's right or anything like that, but like it's the reality of what's going on. It's the reality. And I think, well, as we get into the discussion, I will bring perspective on that as much as possible. And I think, yeah, I do have an example of London as well in the opening. Damian Redmond checking in from St. Elizabeth, representing Jamaican Tackle Football League, right? Awesome, man. Good to see you, Damian. Cassine, Northport, Florida. Awesome. Ms. Cole, hello. Good to see you. Donna Marie, greeting. Throp and Throppers chiming in from Miami. Awesome. Safi Anderson, hey Throp, home affordability is increasingly difficult in every major city globally. I don't know why people continue to take swipes at Jamaica. That is my point here. And again, I think it's just so important to bring perspective here, and I hope to do that. I hope to do that when in our discussion here. All right, we're almost ready with the guests. I'm going to breeze through these comments. Sorry if I'm going to be short with them, but I do want to get this discussion going because we have our We have the guest from NCB coming on in an hour and a half, and I do want to give us enough time to get into the weeds here. Sam Cooper, happy Sunday, everyone. Watching from Harrison, New Jersey. Staying at Travelers next week. Awesome. And cannot wait to be in the grill, missing the beach and sunshine. Thanks, Throp and the team for today's discussion. Absolutely, you're welcome. B. Isaiah says, Throp, also please understand, I love what you are doing. I love my homeland. Peace. Oh, no, I get it. I understand, B. Isaiah. I understand completely. Safi Anderson, but what you can afford until you can afford what you want to buy, compromise and make sacrifices on location, etc. Good point. Forever, Eva, I'll shorten your name there, says that Safi, not true. Housing is still inexpensive in most of the third world. Stop thinking that the developed world represents everywhere. Okay, we will, again, get into all that shortly. Damian Redman says homeownership and Airbnb ownership is easy for the diaspora, but Jamaicans will be priced out of the market. Gail Roberts says, with the Chinese building hotels and forbidding Jamaicans to book there, it feels like the JA dream is dying. I haven't heard that. What hotels are forbidding Jamaicans to book there? I haven't heard that. If you have an example, please, Gail, I'd love to know about that. Where a hotel in Jamaica is, any hotel that is forbidding Jamaicans to book there. Have not heard of that, and I am obviously in the business, but I'm open to learning. Stephen Johnson, happy Sunday, Throp. You are doing a good job. I've been trying to get into the Airbnb business, but it's so difficult to know what area is good because of the price and overcrowded market, in my opinion. Gotcha. Donna Marie says increase in prices is global. Most places have infrastructure while we do not. Safi Anderson says Jamaica isn't most of the world, and I'm not thinking developed world represents everywhere. Since COVID, homeownership has gone up due to multiple factors. Talk to your elected officials. Hey, Mark McCarthy says greetings to one and all. Great looking day, Throp. Good to see. This still pushing ahead and keeping up the good work. Thank you. Saquon, at 23, it looks increasingly difficult for me to own property, Throp. If big people are complaining, what am I to do? All right, that's kind of, I would say, almost like exactly where this discussion is going to start. And I would say that's not that other demographics don't matter, but I would say there's in my mind, it's like it's a big focus is young people and how their outlook on Jamaica, their outlook of being a homeowner, their outlook on the possibility or probability of them reaching their life goals, their financial goals, etc., etc. So thank you for the comments, Kwan. We will be talking about that from that perspective. Natasha York says, I agree. I live in Alpharetta, Georgia, and the prices are crazy, but the prices are not going down. The same thing is happening in Jamaica. I prefer to invest in Jamaica. One Mad Race. Hello, brother. Nice to meet you all. Thanks for joining. Cheryl, greetings. For Evis, question. Throp, as a hotelier, do you think it's unfair that Airbnb operators don't pay taxes while you have to? Oh, what a question. So, I mean, I think they should be paying taxes, right? I think if you're earning money, you should be paying taxes. We have Airbnb here and at the hotel, but it's not to and every hotel, most hotels I know have Airbnb rooms dedicated to them. We do it, and it's such an incentive for us, and it's, at least when I was in the operation standpoint, and somebody who's an Airbnb could correct me, but I believe Airbnb charges 3%, and as compared to some other online travel agents, which some charge 30%. And so it's highly incentivized. Obviously, like, our business model is not built around Airbnb, but to be charged 3% compared to a 30%, as a hotel, like that's great. That's great for us. On the tax situation, I believe everybody should be paying tax. I don't know how that would be regulated, being that it is a foreign company, and I'm not sure. I know New York was battling that for a while, and I'm actually not sure where that battle has gone. But yeah, that's my answer. I hope that happens. Um, oh, Candy says corrected me. Airbnb charges 15% for business operators and 3% for private individuals. Thank you, Candice. So still lower than traditional online travel agents. Cheryl says, please do not exclude governance from this conversation. Absolutely. Shayna Love Coaching says, I think Gail Roberts is referring to a post incident that few locals complained and think fire was involved. It was a month or two ago. I came across the article / video. I forgot which parish. Okay, all right. I'll have to look into that. Saw that in the news recently that Aria Hotel was on fire recently. Okay, gotcha. Allegedly, it was burnt due to Chinese owners' discrimination. Gotcha. All right. Lorstein Bailey says preventing Jamaicans from booking locally has been going on for years. Again, never heard of this. Never heard of this. Goldie Wendy saying hello from Orlando. Good to see you. All right, I think we're pretty much ready here. For Eva says Airbnb should be seen as income and charge personal income tax, but nobody pays it here in Jamaica. Ian, good morning to you, all of you in the world. SK Skipper, what type of affordable housing do you think the government should build? Single units, complexes, blocks, apartments? So right now they are. We're going to get into that. So we're going to get in. Good question. Where you'll that will be answered and addressed. Lurstein Bailey says, I want to go back home for a very long time, but unfortunately our paradise island is only for the rich. The politicians has made that possible. Whatever they can sell, they have sold. All right, we'll get into that as well. Copeland Russell, why all these people from all over the world are becoming Jamaican citizens? I don't know. They have their reasons. They must see something, right? Something positive here. Okay, we are ready to invite our guest on. Chad, you want to come have a seat? And I'm going to invite Candice and Ramon, as well as Chad. I think Chad's camera. There you go, Chad. All right, let's test your mic, Chad. Go ahead, Chad.
Microphone?
Yep, Chad, you're good. Yeah, throw your headphones on. All right, and I'm going to add. No,
Hey
we should
guys.
just a wide angle. You know what? Yeah, we're gonna switch that. Just make that wider. Like turn that to 16 and move it forward. Sorry, we're gonna change the angle here so that you can see me and Chad at the same time.
All right, no problem. Can you hear me?
All right. Can I get a test from you guys, Chad? I mean Ramon and Candice?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm not hearing you guys. Okay, are you hearing them? Because I'm not hearing them.
I'm hearing Ramon. Are you
Hold on
hearing
one
me?
second. Could
Yeah,
be
I'm hearing you,
my
Candice.
settings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I set up a light?
Okay. All right. So we're gonna have to use. For some reason I can't hear you in my head. Oh wait, hold on. It could be my volume was down. 1 second. 1 second. All right. We're gonna try that one more time. Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Can you hear
Okay,
them?
Okay,
awesome.
perfect.
You can hear that. Okay.
Okay, great.
It's quite low. Okay, I'll turn you up. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Everybody can hear everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Thank you all for joining. Hold on. Let's see if we can get Chad in there. Awesome.
Okay, great.
Thank you everybody for joining the discussion and coming on last minute. So to start with, if you guys can just go around, introduce yourselves, where you're from, and how old you are, I think, is important, and what you do, and then we'll get going. Ladies first.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Candice McCullough, and I'm 31 years old. I'm 31 years old, and I live in St. Catherine, Jamaica, and I'm the company admin at Prop Media. Raman, you?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Raman Lindsay, and I live in St. Catherine, Jamaica as well. And I am an editor slash cinematographer, and I'm 30.
Oh, you're younger than me.
Okay. And Ramon is an editor, cinematographer for Thought Media.
For
Just
trap, yeah,
let me-
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, forgot that part.
All right. And Chad. Hold on.
Yes.
Sorry. Go ahead again. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Chad Davis. I'm from Savlamar, Westmoreland. I'm a photographer, wedding photographer, editor, also editor, and I guess you could say director of photography at with Winthrop. Winthrop. So, oh, and I'm 29.
Okay. All right.
I'm
Good.
the oldest.
Yes, you
Wow.
are.
Well, no. Yeah.
I'm the oldest. So, and I'm 38. So 39 next month,
Yes.
which is crazy. All right. So I wanted to, before we get started, we're started, I guess, at this point, but I wanted to bring some perspective to the table. And as I opened up with many of many cities, towns, and countries around the world are kind of experiencing uh, this increase in house prices. And what we were talking about earlier, I mean, I should say a few days ago, was just about the affordability for you guys and getting your perspective on what's happening. And let's start with the survey that we did, and we can start from there. And then I want to kind of bring some global statistics and some global perspectives to the table here. So we'll start with that. Let me see if I can pull it up. So I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see this. Let me know if you can or can't. But I'm going to share my screen with hopefully everybody. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so this is the survey that I was referring to. Everybody, Chad, if you can just kind of peek over. And so obviously, as I stated before, this is not any sort of representation of where we are or what, and there's no conclusion to be drawn from this at all. I would say, and it's more so just kind of getting an idea and being able to talk to this. I figured it was better to get the perspective of some other people than just having this conversation in isolation. And of course, if you have any questions or anything like that, please put it in the comment section and we'll try to address it. And we'll try to make time for the discussion as well, in the discussion, to answer any questions that you have. So as you can see, we only put it out to 18 people. This is what we could get. We literally put this out yesterday, and 72% of the respondents are between the ages of 30 and 39. I don't know what percent. Okay, 5.6% is, which is one person, is 40 to 49, and 22.2% is 20 to 29. So, relatively young people, the majority, will answer this question and answer this questionnaire. And where is everybody from? So we sent this out to people who are living in Jamaica, and we thought that was the most important part, given the perspective of the comments and also the video that we put out last week. So 38.9% is from St. Catherine, 16.7% is from St. Andrew, 22.2% is from Kingston, 5.6% from St. James, 11.1% from Clarendon, and 5.6% from St. Anne. Half of the people who answered this own a home, half of them do not. All right, so I would say these two are like kind of the most important statistics, and we'll hop into this. So 10 of the 18 people answered this question: is how much do you pay for your monthly rent currently? And 50% is between, this is in Jamaican dollars, obviously, $30,000 to $50,000 per month. 30% is between 50 and 100,000 per month. Less than 20,000 is 10% or one person. 20 to 29,000 per month is 10%, and that's 10 people. And the next one is how much can you afford to pay towards a monthly mortgage loan? And 33% had said between 15 and 30,000 Jamaican dollars per month. 27.8% is between 31 and $45,000 per month. Gonna go high to low here. 22.2% said they could afford a loan or mortgage payment, a monthly payment of 76 to 90% per month, 90,000 per month, excuse me. 11.1% said 46,000 to 60,000. And 5.6% or one person said between 106,000 to 120,000 per month. And the last question we asked is, are you optimistic about your financial future in Jamaica? And 44% said no, and 55.6% said yes. And again, want to re-emphasize that this is not conclusive evidence or conclusive survey that we put out. More the point is to really have a discussion based on this. And so that's kind of where I want to start our discussion, which is really the last question. And with you guys and you being young people, literally 31 and younger, and kind of getting an idea, like, do you like you're like, how do you feel about like the direction of Jamaica, like for your future? And do you believe that the trajectory that Jamaica is on now, do you feel like you could reach your, like, not only your financial goals but like your life goals? Like, do you feel like you're on a path, or you have an opportunity to get on the path to try and achieve these goals? And I just kind of open it up with a general question. Anybody can start.
Ladies
Okay.
first.
Ramon.
um, so I'll say yes. I believe I'm on a path to own my own home. At the moment, I don't own no. So backstory, I don't own my own home. I I will eventually through inheritance, but for myself to purchase a home, not at the moment. But I believe I'm on the path to do so sooner rather than later. Um, and in regards to my financial future, if I'm confident about it, is that part of the question, or is just that from the survey?
It's from the survey, but you can answer however you feel.
Yeah, I feel very confident about my future in Jamaica here on a financial basis. Like most people, you dip every now and again, and you're like, oh, but then for the most part, overall, yes, I do. Did I answer all the part of the question?
Yeah, no problem. Ramon?
Well, for me, yes, I do think there is a future in it as well. I currently own a home, and I am actually looking to purchase another one in the future. So I definitely think that, well, for in Jamaica, it is possible to, well, based on income and all of that, it is possible to get that done. Repeat the question again, please.
No, Well, I was just trying to get your general outlook on like
Okay.
your like where you stand personally and whether you're concerned, you're optimistic.
Oh no, no, I'm not. I'm not concerned at all.
Okay. And Chad?
Sorry. So I think my perspective kind of falls. But, well, I think because I'm thinking now at this point we have a good like balanced panel because we have one homeowner, we have someone who doesn't own a home yet and is kind of looking into it. I'm kind of looking into it as well, but I think I fall kind of in between in the gray area. I'm not quite sure um, how to feel fully as it. I'm not quite confident of what the information is surrounding purchasing a home. I know I'm interested in doing it, but and I think that might be the case for many Jamaicans my age. Um, we look at it as a prospect. However, I don't think information is generally known of how best to kind of pursue purchasing a home, or what the criterias are you have to that you would have to meet in order to be able to afford a home that you desire. So because of that, I think maybe I'm a bit I haven't really formed a full opinion as yet, but I would say generally speaking, I'm fairly optimistic. Um, However, there are certain things that I do have, my doubts about, or so it's not all doom and gloom, but at the same time, um, I'm just kind of probably trying to find what the opinion is. Like I don't have a very strong opinion as yet. I guess.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. And like as you saw, like it was almost pretty much split 50-50 on the survey that we sent out, which is only 18 people. Like, and not conclusive, but only 18 people. I would say almost half people they said they were optimistic. Other half said that they weren't. And so, and then you combine like the data points of the comments, which was, and I don't know if it's people living here or people abroad, but like it was overwhelmingly like there was like a negative outlook of Jamaica and also the affordability of of a home for the average person. And I kind of want to get into this, and we'll get your perspective. And I understand why, and I see why that is the case. And so I want to bring this. Let me share my screen again. And as I believe it was Eugene was sharing with us, like his perspective on what's happening in London and the unaffordability of what's going on there. I'll send this link. I'll put this link in the comments as well, so everybody can have access to this. So this article is basically talking about the migration of millionaires around the entire world post COVID. So and the article goes into it, like 2020, there was pretty much no migration of millionaires because of COVID. And now you're seeing where these millionaires are going, and you see in the green, this is countries that are gaining millionaires, and you see in the red where countries are losing their millionaires. And these, maybe $1 million is seven figures, right? So seven figures can go very, very high, right? So it's hard to say whether they're the one percenters or not, but nonetheless it's still a lot of money to be moving around the world. And what is happening, and this is kind of what Noel was he wasn't saying this was happening, but this is what is happening, is that there is money moving into Jamaica, and Jamaica is not on this obviously, but it's just showing you the mobility of money around the world and mobility of wealth around the world. And what happens is, somebody was talking about in Canada, the prices and home prices are going up. Same thing in the United States, especially like in places like Florida, New York City as well. Like they're just skyrocketing. And what's happening is like they are driving up prices because like of these new constructions that is happening. And what happens is those prices and those values go up a certain percentage, and they go into this in the article, and it's essentially a trickle down effect. And there is another article explaining the same thing happening in Singapore. I'm going to see if I could I'm going to see if I could bring that up, where there are like these, and I'm not saying that this is happening in Jamaica, and I'm not saying it's not happening in Jamaica. I'm putting that in the comments as well. But there is this new building that went up in Singapore where a Chinese family bought the whole entire building. And so think about what happens with that, where you have this new building, and Singapore is an island nation just like Jamaica. So there's nowhere for expansion to happen for housing or residents. So you can only go up. And so you have this new building that is taking up very, very precious real estate, and allegedly it's being completely bought out by one family for them to hold on to. And what does that do? It decreases the inventory that's available in that city. And because it's a supply and demand situation, of course, eventually the prices in all other real estates around it and availability is going to go up. I'll bring up one more example before we continue the discussion, and that is of digital nomads, right? And so this is a byproduct. So I'm sure you've heard me mention Reddit. Like I'm on Reddit like crazy, and I kind of go like really deep into these articles. But it's a post that was like, and sorry, it has some explicit language. I should have warned you before that. But there's graffiti, and there's basically the post is saying like F digital nomads, because they're also doing the same thing. So think about it. If you're working in a tech company, more than likely you're getting paid really good, above average salary, far above average salary, and you also can work from anywhere in the world, which sounds fantastic. And so what does that mean? That you can go into places like Portugal, and it's cheaper to live there. The quality of life is good. There are a lot of young people, et cetera, all these things that would attract these young digital nomads to these areas. And they take up the housing as well, because I don't know if they had a housing problem or housing crisis already there, but you have an influx of people from other parts of the world kind of going back to this map. And if you have migrations of millionaires, what about the 100,000 heirs, if you will, that are making far more money than the local people that are making? And that's also the same model, same pattern that's going to happen. And so that's where I would say the fear is coming from, bringing it back to here in Jamaica, is that you have people with money, whether it's also, and from what I understand, it's a large majority of the Jamaican diaspora who have been living abroad for many, many years, have worked very hard for 30, 40, 50 years, whatever it is, and they want to come home for their retirements, and they have the means to purchase these new developments. And they're a big part of the driving force that is here in Jamaica. And so, the question is like, man, like, what do we do? And we'll get into government and policy and all that and shortly. What do we do? Are they not allowed to buy the real estate? Should we say no? And this is, and on the other side of the coin, it's just like there should be something that is done, and we're going to get into that as well, in terms of making it affordable for locals and making it affordable for the average person to afford a home. And to me, like in this discussion and this presentation of information, it's like this is happening, and like that's my main point in all this. And don't shoot the messenger. This is happening. It was an enlightening conversation. It was an enlightening piece of information. And this is also kind of my perspective as well, is, and like what everything that we're doing in Jamaica, like I'm encouraging everybody here to invest in Jamaica, to move back. It's a great opportunity. It's a great lifestyle. And I see what's happening. And I'm like, we us it's important that we have an opportunity to own a piece of the pie. And for many people who are watching this, this is your birthright. And there are other people, other nations, that's companies, etc., that are seeing the light as well and seeing the opportunity in Jamaica. And like my whole point is like, if they're seeing it, I want you to see it as well. So like bringing it back to the locals here, we did a little bit. I don't know if you have this. Before we go into that, I was going to ask you for the NHT stuff, Candice, but we, if you could bring it up, but I want to bring the conversation back to our guest here and the discussions, and kind of broadening it out a little bit. Like, how do your friends feel about like what's happening? Well, you as well, but like, how do your friends feel about like what's happening in the real estate market? Are they paying attention to it? And do they feel like all of this is affecting them, which it is, at the end of the day it is. There's no question about it. But like in general, like how do they feel about and yourself included, about the outlook of Jamaican home prices and the way and direction things are going? Yeah, sure, go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, so I was having this conversation just last night with a friend of mine. And I think his main concern was the minimum wage
Mm-hmm.
in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So, because when you look at the prospect for people who work minimum wage in Jamaica, which is, I guess I would say maybe generally a majority, or
I'm not sure. I couldn't say.
close to that, perhaps.
Okay.
So it seems as if, which is not, this is not necessarily based upon statistics, but I'm assuming, and it seems that way, that majority of Jamaicans would have a very difficult time
Mm-hmm.
purchasing a home. And we're not, and then the next part of it was that we're not talking about in tourism industries, because you mentioned whether they should be allowed to purchase these properties and so on. And I think maybe they might be looking to purchase land more in a place that is would be considered tourism area,
Mm-hmm.
maybe alongside the beach or so on. So to separate majority of Jamaicans, who are looking to purchase a home, like in regular areas, where someone who is looking to retire in Jamaica might not be looking there.
Mm-hmm.
Even in those areas, it seems as if the houses are not within their reach.
Gotcha.
So I think that was kind of his main concern based upon what I was getting from him, and I kind of can see where he's coming from. However, also the next part of the discussion was, if you compare it to other places in the world, that Jamaican real estate is far cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also valid, and also material cost and so on. So at the same time, there's a limit to what can be done in terms of reducing the cost of housing in Jamaica. Um, so I'm not quite sure, like if we could find a solution there, or maybe the solution would be more looking towards increasing the minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see a benefit in per se, like closing the market to outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the solution probably would be more towards trying to increase minimum wage or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about it, Ramon and Candice?
So I agree with Chad. I don't see a benefit in closing the market to, just closing the market generally. And I think more the benefit, or where we should put most of the work, is increasing minimum wage, because along with being able to afford housing, then the general public, or the general population here, would be able to afford a more comfortable lifestyle. So I think that's where most of the conversation should be had, is what ways can we increase minimum wage, create more jobs in Jamaica, that will benefit the people here and not the money leave the country. You know, um, the other part of the question is if I'm watching the prices and if my friends are watching prices. I think for the most part we are. I know for myself, I am looking at prices. It's easy to get distracted by the prices that are outside of my reach. I think because those are more attractive, the places are more attractive, and they're more on the luxury side, and they're advertised more versus the prices that are within my reach. And so I find that I have to do more research to find those places. My friends, some already own their homes, so they're not really looking for anything at the moment. I have friends who are looking for their second home in terms of for investment properties. And so they're looking at prices for them. They've told me, I've had a recent conversation with one of my girlfriends, and she said not to make the prices discourage me, because there are ways out there to get housing. And she said she thought at first that she wouldn't be able to afford her first home, which is our investment property now. But once you find a place that you like, there are means and ways to get financing. So I took that to heart, and then also, being here and also looking for myself individually, there the prices aren't too bad. There are options out there. Uh,
Can you
um,
give us before we get to Ramon? Can you just give us some examples of the prices that you are seeing and saying that they're not too bad?
so if I want to stay in my area, there is 2 bedroom, 1 bath house starting at, well, now it has gone up, but it about 15, 16 million going up.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen houses outside of, well, not looking at Kingston per se. I haven't really looked in depth in Kingston, but in, say, St. Elizabeth, which is an area I'm looking into, I've seen places for 6.5 million, and that's would be for me a fixer upper. But I've seen places within my reach of, if I take my NHT benefits and also get additional financing plus saving for, extra 10 million. For me as well, that would be a fixer upper. For some, maybe not. Um, I've seen houses. My cousin just bought one down the road from me for a 3 bedroom, 3 bath with a laundry area, um, a man cave area, and a garage for about 15 million. And it wasn't a fixer up or too much before, but he's fixing it up to his liking. Um, so yeah, those are the prices I've been seeing so far, and those are within my reach. You know.
Ramon?
Yeah, so I definitely agree with everyone. And in terms of looking to purchase and based on like what friends are looking into as well, most of them are more into purchasing land to build, because to them that's more within their reach, and they can get a bigger house building on a land that's theirs than purchasing a starter home. And in terms of the prices, it's the same prices that can be seen that I see on my end as well, um around those regions. And I would say it's very that I'm trying to see how best I can get to a point where I can look more, because I want to purchase like a rental property. So I'm trying to get myself to above average.
Mm-hmm.
um, but for now, it's not. I wouldn't say I can reach there as yet, but the possibility is there. Like what Candy said, there are ways to get monetary support from certain banks and stuff like that. You just have to know to ask the correct questions to get more information about the properties and stuff like that.
So, like, what do you guys think, or what do you say to like somebody who is earning minimum wage at this time, and what do you think that those those people can do about putting themselves in a position to hopefully afford a home, or do you think that you don't think it's possible that they ever will because they are earning a minimum wage now?
Well, for me, I think if it's possible for them to join with a family member or somebody that they're with, if if they're sure that that relationship is going to last, um,
Mhm.
they joining would be better. So they can join with each other, and if they have NHD benefits, they can join that as well, and that will kind of lower the amount of money that they would need to get from the bank.
I would say they have there are options out there for persons earning minimum wage. Based on what I saw with the NHT breakdown, is the closer you are to the minimum wage bracket, is the more points you get. So the more you make, is the less benefits you can really get from NHT. And you also would, well, a person earning minimum wage would also be able to get, well, it appears first preference in the housing scheme units, because then they would have higher points. And as Rahman said, if you can join with someone else who, you can combine your points, then you have more money to get from NHD and then purchase a home, whether it be, on the regular market or from one of the developments that's NHD is doing. And or because the private market, all the houses I'm seeing, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Raman is seeing is mostly from private developers, and those are affordable in terms of in terms of when you look at the financing options that are out there for you to get a house or a land.
So you had brought up NHT, and so I just want to like to just bring perspective and just everybody understands like the NHT National Housing Trust. And Candice, you probably know this better than I do, so correct me if I have any of this wrong. But after contributing into the NHT fund for 2 years, you have access to a set amount of money to go towards purchasing your first home, correct? And that
That's
is
correct.
6.5 million.
The maximum you can get is 6.5 million if you're a first time homeowner
Yeah.
getting that loan. Yeah. And it also depends on if you have any debts and all these things, how close you are to 70 and all these things as well.
So you have to be a qualified candidate.
Hmm.
Correct. Yeah.
And then also, like, if you had mentioned, Ramon, that you can join, so you can put that together and to get 13 million.
Yes.
Right. And so somebody's putting it in the comments. So obviously, like, that may not, you had mentioned homes for 16 million, I think was the minimum. Oh no, you said 6 million, Candice, but like the other one was like, um, say 16 million, you'd have to get an outside loan to cover the difference between that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And NHG does the joint, I forget the term, but it's pretty much like a joint program with other banks. So you could get your portion from NHG, and then you could get from, whatever private institution out there that they work with. And from the list I saw on their site, they work with almost every bank here. So,
Mhm.
mhm.
And the interest rate is 4%, I think.
Well, it depends, because
Yeah.
they have a mortgage calculator, and I did one for myself and I got 2%. I was shocked. I was like, well, so
From the NHD portion, I mean, I think.
yeah.
Oh.
So I don't know if they changed something, but I was
Mm,
quite shocked. I was like, 2% interest rate?
because when I was purchasing my home, I got 4% from the
Oh,
NHD side. Yeah. So.
Okay. And I think so, like there's no doubt like the, and this is kind of what we opened with, like the wealth gap continues to widen. And again, like that's happening all over the world. And I'll bring New York into this again by way of analogy. And it's just like it's just getting so ridiculously expensive. Like the average, I believe the average American income is like 55,000 US dollars per year. Don't quote me on that, somewhere around there. And then like if you want to get something in, the five boroughs, like no average American can afford to buy a home there. Like it's just insane. And what is even happening now, like even the rents are going up sky high. Like even my mom at her job, she's telling me, so she works like in Manhattan, and she's telling me that her coworkers are living in Pennsylvania, and like we're talking about like few hours commute one way to get to work, and you obviously got to do that to get back home. But that's as far how far people are traveling to get to work to New York City, which is like ridiculous, and it's like a big concern for the city. Is like where are like the transit municipal workers going to live, and how are they, like at some point it's just going to keep ballooning out. So like something needs to be done. And I do believe, like, and obvious another obvious point too is that even in that analogy is the salaries have not met the increase of inflation and the valuation of these properties either, and like that's no secret. And the same thing here in Jamaica, and everywhere in the world. I mentioned the Singapores, I mentioned the Lisbons, we talked about England, and so like this is happening, and we're going to get into, I guess, the government parts at some point. And I would just encourage, especially like young people, it's just like, man, like you really want to start thinking about like your financial future and putting yourself in a position where you can eventually become a homeowner, because I don't see a world, and please, anybody in the comments, if you can correct me, where there's like affordability is going up. You know what I'm saying? Like you can afford more homes. Like everywhere is increasing. Like I showed you the map of millionaires moving around the world and that sort of thing. So it's just like, man, I don't have a solution to that. I mean, in terms of putting one forward, somebody had mentioned in the comments that like in New York, they do have a law in place where a certain percentage of any new construction that comes on has to go towards affordable housing. And you have to get in through lottery, which I think is great. It's an amazing program. Like that to me shows that like a small portion of families are able to live in these new buildings and in these premium neighborhoods, and they're able to afford it. And like that's changing the lives of this family and young people that are in that family. I do believe something like that can and should be implemented in Jamaica. And I don't know if that's going to de-incentivize developers or anything like that. I don't think it should, because the boom is so great. But even if it's just like 5% of the inventory for new housing development goes towards affordable housing, and you have to allow that for people who make under a certain percentage. It may already exist in Jamaica. I don't know that it does, but I know, again, New York does something like that, and every new building. And I think that's great. It's a drop in the bucket at the end of the day. I get that. I realize that. But I, again, for young people, like I would encourage young people like to put themselves in a position and think long term, think 5, 7, 10 years down the road. It's just like, like this is happening. Like this is happening now in 2023. The concern is there. The fear is there. There is not necessarily much that we as individuals can do to counteract that. We could be in a bubble, but I would say like don't be on the defensive and kind of wait and hope that this thing pops. It may or may not, but at the end of the day, like put yourself in a position, like obviously not now in 2023. I do believe this is going to continue. Is like put yourself in a position where hopefully in 5 or 10 years from now that you can afford it, and you can afford a home. And especially talking to like somebody who's in like their early 20s at this point, and they're probably more than likely the ones who are getting their first jobs, who are earning minimum wage here in Jamaica. And Like you have to start thinking about that from now. And this is the reality of what's happening. Even going back to Noel and his presentation and all of this money that's coming into Jamaica, all of this development. I always talk about, if we weren't having this discussion, I would have probably brought up today, like new hotel developments that are happening and coming to Jamaica. And like it's this wave and influx of foreign direct investment that's coming to Jamaica. And it's happening all around us, and it's going to affect all of us. And some people are going to win, some people are going to lose. Again, I'm not here to say it's fair. I don't think that it is, but it's the reality of what is happening. And that's one thing I would say is just like, man, it's just so important. Like you save and invest, and then also equipped and empower yourself with knowledge and information about what is out there in terms of your ability to use loans, whether it's through NHT, through private banking, private funding. Is like all these things. This is like, man, you got to start thinking from now, because I don't see a future, and I'm no economist or anything like that, but it's hard for me to see a future where like the housing is going to come down precipitously, because Jamaica has been severely undervalued. Like that is like really the truth of the matter. Like even the hotel rooms, like us as hoteliers speak about this all the time. We're not getting the true value of our hotel rooms and our rates of being. We're one of the most beautiful beaches in the world, top 10 beaches in the world here in Negril, like year after year after year. We're not getting top 10 beaches in the world money. And it's again, the hotels are seeing that, like these big conglomerates, these big organizations are seeing that it's really undervalued in Jamaica to own a piece of beachfront property, to own a hotel in Negril, Jamaica. And so they continue to invest and pour money into this, because the property and land here is in true undervalued. So, sorry, I went on a rant. I don't even know where I started from. But you guys, I've been talking a while. If you guys want to hop in on anything, please do. Go ahead, Chad. I'm going to look into the comments here.
Yeah. So because I heard you saying it's not fair, but what exactly do you mean like when you say it's not fair? Is it the wealth disparity between the two? Just kind of elaborate on that.
Sure. I don't believe it's fair that the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer.
Yeah.
That's what I don't think is fair. And that is what's happening, globally. And I mean, there's so many news reports talking about like how many more billions that billionaires made over COVID, and people are on unemployment, getting PPP loans, this sort of thing. And then there are people in COVID who like died because of they didn't have health insurance and they couldn't afford it. And they were so fearful, multiple stories of them being so fearful of the hospital bill that they would receive, that they opted not to go to the hospital, and they died multiple times, and then you have that juxtaposed to these billionaires and millionaires making money on top of money on top of money. And so that's why I say it's not fair. But it's like it's also the reality. And I just don't want, at least the people who are watching this and who are part of this community, like, let's not be ignorant about what's happening. Like, we can be mad that it is happening, but we have to accept that it is happening. And there's not much that we can do about it. And this has been happening. This is not anything new. This is not something that is unique to Jamaica. And I've talked about New York over and over and over again. And I remember as a kid being in downtown Brooklyn, East New York, Flatbush. These are some of the worst neighborhoods in America. And like, this is where like my mom lived, and this is where we used to go catch the train and everything like that. And now they are the most sought after neighborhoods in all of New York. And like the same thing is happening in downtown Kingston. Like downtown Kingston, I don't know it that well. I don't know history that much, but it's one of the worst places, or was one of the worst places in Kingston and in Jamaica. And now, like, these are all multi-million-dollar properties because it was a severely undervalued piece of land. And now people are realizing what's happening, and gentrification is happening. And it's going to continue to happen. So again, it's like we need to empower ourselves with this knowledge and know that this is happening, and don't get discouraged by it, and don't be like, this is there's nothing you can do about it in terms of like you personally. Like, yeah, you can't do anything to change the system, I don't think. But there is something that you can do, always something that you can do about your personal situation. And I would just encourage everybody to kind of think on that line, because this is happening. And I do not think it's fair that this wealth gap continues to widen, but it is happening. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has anything else to say while I go through these comments.
Good rant.
There are tons of comments. So I just saw one. I had promised to talk about the governance aspect, and so it's like, all right, what if we were to do something, or and I'll open it to you guys. If we were to be able to do something and ask for something from the government's perspective, and we, what would we want them to address, and how would we like them to make adjustments to what is happening at this moment in time?
Okay, I think I'll go first. So I think in order to kind of make a request from them, you kind of have to assume that like they would act in your best interest in a way, or um that repeat the question one more time.
Well, I was just saying, if we had the ability
Yeah.
to influence policy or influence our government leaders, what would be some requests that we can make to make adjustments in a way to make it more affordable for the average Jamaican, or make it more possible for the average Jamaican to afford a piece of property or buy a home?
I think because art. So I'm guessing if we could, there's different methods that I think they could use. I think either way, the position that we're in as an island state, I think there's no easy answer out of this for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take a lot of hard work and um, like cooperation. It's going to have to be like a group effort. But to take a example out of what Singapore did, I was watching like a documentary on kind of how they became like established, and I think what the government did was at some point they offered housing for majority of the people in a certain field, and because of the promise of housing, of I think it was, I'm not sure if it was affordable housing or that you would own the property, um, just by working, that kind of attempt kind of in the minds of the public made them able to see like a way for themselves. So what the government did was I think they kind of funded the building of like many apartment complexes and so on, and then they had that as kind of a prospect to the people that you will be able to work, you'll be able to earn a salary, and we will house you, and you don't have to like pay rent. So and within many couple of years of working, you will then own the property. So I think that kind of allowed the people to kind of have this feeling of, yes, we can kind of build this country, we can work hard and work towards this opportunity together. And I think that was a very strategic move by Singapore's government. Um, so that's one. I think that's a decision that they would have to make, the government themselves, and we wouldn't really have any bearing on whether they choose to do something like that. Um, but I think as Jamaican people, however, um, I think it's gonna take a lot of hard work if we are going to. I don't think one person can come up with a solution and do this. I think there has to be a kind of a change mentally in the minds of the general public to, or either to position ourselves more strategically or something. Because like when you think of it, the cost, when you think of it from the perspective of the cost of material, we will never be able to dictate the cost of material. And if you're going to build a house, it's going to be X amount of money, and then that if you're going to sell that, you're not going to sell it at cost price. So either way, I think the answer is either Jamaica needs to, well, not either. I think the only answer is Jamaica needs to be more competitive overall globally. Um, I'm not sure what methods we can use to perhaps achieve that, but I don't see. Uh, I don't see currently. I'm not able to see a way where they can like just change one thing in the equation and then get the prices down.
Okay, more competitive globally in what respect?
Um, well, I think there's many. Um, I don't think we are competing um in certain, what was the word now, like certain fields, certain,
Oh,
like
like
say,
from a career standpoint.
yeah.
I see. Mhm.
So it kind of still comes down to like Jamaica's GDP and how much we can afford to do
Gotcha.
minimum wage and
Hmm.
and so on. Because um, I'm not sure if someone else has an answer in regards to that, but I don't. I currently I'm not able to perceive a way that we could, the government can say X, and unless someone is going to bear the upfront burden of the cost of housing, and then have the people work towards paying it off
Hmm.
or something like that. I'm not quite sure otherwise.
Okay. So basically, you're saying that your idea is to have the government provide housing, provide homes for Jamaicans, move them in, and then instead of paying cash, they work for it over time, and the government pays for it upfront.
Potentially, I'm thinking that because um, with when people don't have much funds to do something, it comes with a lot of inefficiencies, right? So people will do things that cost them a lot more money in the long term
Hmm.
because they don't have the upfront investment to do it like that. Um, Also, I'm thinking if there's a prospect they see where it is in front of them that, oh, I already have this house and so on, I just need to keep working, I just need to put in this work and so on, then my life will be okay. But I think when they're in a position of, I don't yet see the potential of owning this home, and I'm going to um it's like you're going to try to encourage me, to work in a dead end job.
Hmm.
That's how the perception is, right? Because
Right.
it is a struggle to when somebody's like working a um minimum wage job, and to kind of try to encourage themselves out of that mindset to perceive something better for themselves and even continue working hard despite the returns.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe that's why maybe I think something like that could possibly work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you guys think? Do you guys have any ideas on if we again could have any influence with the government and push forward, policies or whatever that we can change? What do you think we can do?
So I'll support what Chad, a couple of things that Chad said in regards to emulating Singapore. So first of all, if I had the chance to influence the government in certain policies, there are a lot of policies I would change to make or push to make a change in the country. One of which would be social housing, as what Chad suggested, based on what Singapore is doing. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they're looking at something similar here in Jamaica, but I wouldn't do something similar to that in terms of everyone is sure of housing, whether no matter your income, whether you're making a lot of money or a little bit of money, you're sure of housing, and that is provided by the government, whether you choose to pay for it upfront or you pay for it similar to how you do rent. You pay and pay to own. Another thing would be to make sure that every Jamaican is sure about education up to a university level, whether you want to become a doctor, lawyer, teacher, or you want to earn a skill. I know my parents benefited from, if not subsidized, extremely subsidized education, pretty much free education up to university level, which I'm not sure why they removed that from the system because I think that helped. But anyways, I would put that back in place where it's way more affordable for education, because once everyone's employed, not employed, everyone's educated to a level or has a skill, then they can make a means for themselves in terms of earning, and whether they want to stay in Jamaica or leave. And I believe also, if we as a people and the government put a lot of emphasis or some amount of emphasis in job creation, or make the environment more attractive to locals, creating job opportunities here for other locals, then that will help keep the money in instead of making it more appealing for international investors. So the money then goes out, and then all of that will circulate along with other policies to improve the atmosphere here.
I agree with both points from Chad and Candice. Off the top right now, there's stuff that can that policies that can change different from that, but off the top of my head right now, I don't have anything in mind. I'd have to
Okay.
give it some more thought.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I say like so. At the end of the day, like in my mind is we have to make it so that it is more affordable for the average person, for the average Jamaican. And I think Candice, in my opinion, like Candice hit it on the head, and in a way also Chad did, in terms of making Jamaica more competitive, making our people more valuable. And to me, that's education. Like that is like the one thing that we can do as a country is like invest in education like crazy. And it's a very long term thinking. It's very long term planning. I've said this many times before. It's hard to see one political person, our leader, kind of sacrifice their term to focus on that, because you're not going to see the results for many many years. But you have to start, and I'm not saying Jamaica isn't investing in education. I just think they could be investing more. That's my personal opinion. And to me, that's like where we can get like crazy, talk about bang for our buck and increasing our literacy rate, putting our kids in a position where they can go to the best universities in the world, making universities, as Candy said before, here in Jamaica more affordable and having more access to the average Jamaican. And we can't go wrong. If we double I'm going to say double, but like if we double the amount of people that have a college that are college educated in Jamaica, like what would that do for us as a country? Like that would be like we raise the magic wand and just boom, that happened. I mean, we'd be so much further along than anything else. And so that in itself, and like that comes with so many other ancillary benefits in terms of not only being more valuable as a people, but innovation, different thinking, a society, a more educated society, like the crime is going to go down, like all these things. Like an educated person is just going to make, generally speaking, of course, is just going to make a better decision than perhaps another an uneducated person. And an educated person who thinks and believes that they have a future and thinks and believe that they have something to live for and something to contribute to their family and to their community, they're going to make better decisions. They're going to think more long term than anything else. So I totally agree that is important, and that could really make a huge difference. And for the young people now, it's also kind of, I don't mean to be the dead horse, but it's also, again, thinking about the future and putting yourself in a position in 5 years, 10 years from now, where you can, and maybe you don't want to own a home, but like, that's the context of this discussion. But you want to put yourself in a position where you can financially be able to afford these things and to afford a home and to make a down payment. And it may not happen now, and there are different ways of doing it. And when we have the banker for NCB come on, I'm sure they're gonna educate us on a bunch of different things and let us know what our options are. But um, especially in the day and age that we live now, like as a young person, it's just like if there are young people listening to this in their early 20s, this is like, man, we're living in the digital age. Just like really try to put yourself in a position to learn a new skill, to be able to just bring value to a company, maybe start your own company,
Mm-hmm.
You could ask, we're a startup, obviously, throughout media. We're just getting things going, but I didn't ask anybody for their degree here. Everybody, and my point is like like as much as I just advocated for education and the importance of education. You can also put yourself as a young person in a position to bring value, to bring value to a company, and it's like just in the creative. I'll just bring creative industry to the table here, and that you can show me your value. Like for example, if you're a photographer or if you're a videographer, by showing me your phone and show me your work on your phone, on your Instagram or whatever. And this is how we all got together. It's just like it's very easy, and in that sense of proving yourself, where you don't have to show that you have a college degree. And these are some of, I would say, some of the highest paying jobs that are out there for a young person. But it's really a matter of sitting down and learning the skill, whether it's on your phone or whatever have you, and putting yourself in a position. And you don't have to, and especially like in this industry, like this is a very, what would I say, a work from home team, in a sense that we all work together every day, but we're all on our computers. And um, everybody kind of learned their skills on their own. I'm not sure about Ramon actually, but even like we're going through with Chad, like we're going through a training, like all the training that he's going through to be a videographer and editor is all online, and he's like doing an awesome job in being an editor. And so, I just like would encourage people to think outside the box, especially young people. And as you're on your phone and doing social media and everything like that, instead of using it and being a consumer, do it and be a producer. Do it and do it and put yourself in a position to work for a company and to be a social media manager and that sort of thing, and these sought after jobs in the future, and thinking long term. And
Mm-hmm.
that would be like my general advice, is like put yourself in a position, thinking long term, thinking 5+ years of how you can put yourself in a position to bring value to a company, or maybe start your own company. And I get it. I'm very much, I recognize, like I'm talking from a position of privilege. I have my own company, I have my own startup and everything like that. But I'm just kind of putting myself in a young person's shoes now, in this digital age, where everybody has smartphone, everybody can go and get free I'm not saying everybody, but the access is there.
Mhm.
And more now than ever, you do have an opportunity to put your future in your hands. And I even look at these like young Jamaican TikTokers, like they're literally from the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? And they take their phones and they become like these online sensations. And not everybody has that entertainment value about them, but
Mm-hmm.
they saw an opportunity, and a lot of them are bringing themselves and earning their money online. And it just shows me again, now more than ever, there is an opportunity with the digital age that we're in, to put yourself in a position to earn money and not really depend, especially and not depend on even just uh, local companies. I was talking to this other influencer last week, and all of her sponsored deals that she has is with, she's born bred Jamaican, living here, living in St. Catherine, and all of her money that she makes is from companies that are from abroad. From every post that she puts on her Instagram or her TikTok, it's from deals that she's worked with from companies from abroad, not Jamaican companies. So the opportunity in that sense is there, and for excuse me, maybe those are like who aren't thinking like that, and I'm just trying to present different ways that we can think about it, different ways we can slice and dice this up.
Yeah, and also to that point, I think I agree 100% because I think even the mentality that I find, we as Jamaicans are very hardworking people, but I think the mentality for many people, especially younger people, and I'm not sure if it's the whole digital age that maybe created, but I think they, they often look for opportunities that already exist,
Hmm.
and I don't think people are thinking from a perspective of, um, I think they look at Jamaica's global landscape and they go, these are the things that we do. And I have to fit underneath one of those things that we do.
Hmm.
I don't think they look at it and say, let me do something that has not been done before here. And I think that we need more of that kind of thinking in order to reach our true potential in Jamaica. I think too many people are just sitting around the phones, being the consumer,
Mhm.
resting around and then complaining that, um, and don't come from me in the comments, but complaining that things aren't that great in Jamaica, which they do have a point, but I mean it is partly our responsibility to change that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree like that. Again, repeating what I said before, is like there are opportunities out there. Um, I like there are opportunities out there to earn money online, and I hate to bring this up, but there are young Jamaicans earning money in an unscrupulous way. There was, oh man, what was this article saying? That I forget. I think it was Petersfield High School that the coach was saying that they're losing athletes to scamming.
Mm,
Um, and and it's just like, man, like it's they're so skilled in that sense, and it's again very easy to say for me from my privileged position. I get that, I understand that. It's like, and me just saying, why not take that skill and the effort that you put towards that and put it to something toward more legitimate. And but it's again the reality is that they feel that that is the best way for them to earn a money, to earn money and to earn a living, is to scam. And I'm
It's
like,
the
man.
mindset.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine's
And it is a big problem, and I don't even think I truly understand like how widespread and prominent scamming is in
mm,
Jamaica, to be honest. Like, but it is significant. It is significant. And again, if our young people, especially like our young men, feel that that is the best way and only way for them to earn a living and to earn income, um, man, we got to change that mindset, and also change the mindset, and hopefully see that they can create and show them that they can create opportunities for themselves. Um, I'm kind of getting into the cloudy, fluffy stuff here, but I also think, of course, like social media has a big influence on this mindset, and just like I could go into this all day, but like just putting
Mhm.
out a situation on social media, especially Instagram, of these lives that are just not realistic, and people trying to live up to them, and trying to again make money in unscrupulous ways in order to live up to what somebody else's fake life on social media is.
Mhm.
And I think that's also a driving factor, and I think that also drive just very, very unrealistic expectations. And again, that's not something that is unique to Jamaica. It's
Mhm.
also in America and all around the world, like where these people are just like there's a saying like Instagram is fake, like it's completely fake, and a lot of people, young people, don't see that, and they try to live up to these just unrealistic expectations of lifestyles, and in many cases willing to do whatever it takes to get that money and to live that lifestyle.
Mhm.
So, like you said, Ramon, it's life, it's mindset.
Yeah, and the sad
so
the
I
sad part. Oh, sorry. The sad
mhm.
part
No,
about it
continue.
is the sad part about it is if they really sit down and think about it, they're really good salespeople because they're
Very.
convincing somebody to to send them money. So they could just put that they could just put that effort in sales,
just
and
just add a
they could be
service behind it.
Mhm.
That's all they
yeah,
need.
I
and
I
they could just
think
switch focus, and they could put that same energy into a sales job and make a lot of
mhm,
incentive on that. So
that is
it's
true.
mindset.
That is true. I I think it goes back to what we were speaking of before, where it yes, that is Instagram, and social media has a lot to do with it, and you're seeing the perfect version of everyone's life. Sometimes the fake version of people's life, curated online. Another thing to consider is that they probably see the persons that are going to their illegitimate jobs, working their 9 to 5 or whatever shift they're on, and having to struggle, they can't buy a full loaf of bread. They can only buy a half or a few slices or a squeeze of toothpaste. And that's a real thing that's happening in for some people. And it goes back to, if there was facilities in place, like they don't have to worry about housing, they don't have to worry about education, they don't have to worry about, to a certain extent, healthcare, because we do have good accessible healthcare. But for the most part, you don't have to worry about, a few other things, because then it is already provided. The government already provided this social housing, you know, for everyone. And your education is there, so you can learn a skill, whatever the skill may be, whether it's be in editing, to work a traditional job, or to work as a mechanic, because everyone needs everyone, those types of jobs. So it goes back to all that security. Some people, I believe, I'm just talking from my point of view here, that they do this, the scamming, out of necessity, because they don't see where slaving away at a job will bring them a comfortable life. Not that they want to live outside of their means, but they want to at least not have to worry about food and housing and electricity and all these other things, you know. Um, so that's a real problem as well.
To
Agreed.
me, I think they're just lazy.
That's
Yeah, they're just lazy.
I
Well,
think
uh,
sorry. I think and thanks Candice for saying that, because I think it strikes a good balance as well, because there is merit to what Candice says. Um, because I for one have seen it as well. I think there are people in positions who would like to do a lot better, and just because of circumstances, because desperate people sometimes will resort to certain methods. I don't think that's the argument for most of them, however, um, who do engage in scamming. But that does speak to something that does exist. Um, so I think as Candy says, we could like the social housing and all of that, that would open up a way out for many people, because I don't think there's many people who even do scamming who even feel proud of it. I've known people who have gone to high school with and so on, who have spoken to me and have like tried offering me the opportunity to get into it or so on. And when they speak with me, they've admitted to me that it's not something they're proud of, or like if when their mom speaks to them they feel bad or whatever. So I think people do want to see a future for themselves, and we there could be there is more that we could do that makes people able to perceive a future for themselves or a future for their families. I think maybe there's a perception problem, maybe. I mean, maybe that's a part of it, because I think, because even when you look at the people who are scamming and the people who get into scamming afterwards, they all imitate each other. They all look alike. They all
drive
behave
the
the
same
same.
cars.
Yes,
Mhm.
they drive the same cars. They are the same person. So I think there's a perception problem that maybe that's a huge part of it as well. That's kind of influencing it.
were you going to say something else, Ramon?
No, it all boils back down to to mindset, because like to add what Chad was saying, some of them are not really comfortable with doing it, but they do it just to change their life per se, or to just have a better life. But then you have the others on the other hand that it's not necessarily a reason that because they're poor or living low why they do it, because when they do it they still choose to invest back into crime rather than invest into bettering their life. So it all boils back down to mindset, and if they want good for themselves or to better their life really.
Yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate situation that like we find ourselves there here as a country, and I think it was last year. I think Jamaica brought in, I think, $1 billion in scamming money, which is insane. That's like an insane amount of money, and it's just not good for our reputation and in general. And I do wish that they felt or they could see that there are other options and other ways for them to make their money, and it just doesn't do us good as far as our reputation. And yeah, I guess it's just mindset and showing perspective and bringing that there are opportunities outside of scamming, and man, they definitely have the skill to do a lot of other things. To
Yeah.
do a lot of other things.
Like
This is
what?
quite the tangent, though.
I'm sorry.
I'm saying this is quite the tangent, though.
Yeah. I don't know how we, but it's. I mean, the thing, like, the tangent is that they and the arm that they got us here is that, like, they, for whatever reason, they feel or felt like this is the way for them to earn a living, and they think that, oh, I can't achieve my financial goals, or purchasing a home or whatever it is, because any other way. You know what I'm saying? And man, it's just bad that our society has got to the point again where a coach of an athletic department at a high school is saying he's losing his athletes to scamming. Like, that's crazy. These are young people. These are our future, and these are kids that were in school at one point, and they don't feel as if, or think like, they have the foresight to think that I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to earn and be able to achieve my goals. And maybe they don't have the mentors. Maybe they don't have the people to look up to say, like, hey, I'm going to be like that guy. Hey, I want to drive the car that he's driving because he's a doctor. I want to drive the car that he's driving because he's a videographer and he makes music videos, or he's a sound engineer, or whatever have you. And so that's the way I think about that, and of course, kind of getting back to, like, social media and the era that we're in as well, is like the there's just like this instant gratification that's needed, and it's just kind of been put into our heads even with social media, and it's perpetuated in real life of instant gratification and fast money. Scamming is fast money. But sitting here and saying that, like, hey, learn a skill for 2 years and put yourself in a position to own a home in 5 years from now, not a lot of people want to, not a lot of people, but, like, there are many people who don't want to hear that, and they want their money today because they see this person on Instagram is earning and what they're doing, so they figure this is the best way. um all right, let me see if I have any other articles that I want to bring up here. We do have, again, like, this is a discussion that is also hopefully a way of bringing information to the table, and we put together a PDF from NHT. And if you go to thropmedia.com, is it Throp Media or ThropX, Candice, to sign up for the newsletter?
Thought media would be the better way to go.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so if you go to Throp Media, you can just fill out the form and put your email address there, and then we can send you the PDF that we put together. And if you don't know, or if you know somebody who's, like, maybe unaware of how the NHT benefits work and what the eligibility is and how much money somebody may be entitled to, you can sign up for the newsletter and we'll get that out to you. And then also, of course, if you are interested, I'm pointing at the wrong camera. If you are interested, we can send that to you for free. And Candice did a good job of just kind of curating, I would say, the most basic information of how the loan works. And then there are also links to the NHT mortgage calculator as well. So if you're interested in that, you can go to thoughtmedia.com and sign up for the newsletter.
My apology. The link is actually on DropX. So
Okay,
I'm just
so
gonna drop that
DropX.
into
Yeah, there you go.
chats.
Dropx.com. Dropx.com. There you go. Sign up for the newsletter there. All right, let's what time is the NCB rep coming on? Or do you want to
Two
get in?
o'clock.
Okay, so
Let
they should
me
be on.
just check. They should be
Sure.
on.
So I'm gonna get into some comments while we get that on here. Sorry, I can't scroll all the way up. There has been a ton, so I know this is not fair, but I'm just gonna kind of go into the more recent ones here and see if we could hop in there. First one I see is like looks like a lot of scammers on this thread. I don't know the context of that. This is the first comment that I saw. All right, let's get to some more serious ones here. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to get to any housing ones. Sorry, yeah, we were talking mostly about scamming, so these are mostly scamming comments. All right, Blessed Peace says, so true that people can do better by coming together and think of ways and means to build together more than killing one another, which is only destroying themselves and others. Gawain 1985 says, rich people scam, but they don't kill each other over it. Ebony X says, I notice a lot of young Jamaicans also have YouTube channels. Yeah, that's also another way of making money out here. And I mean, I've been doing this for years. Anytime like I see a young Jamaican, even with when I used to have a running club a couple years ago, and that's one thing I encourage the guys on the team. It's like, man, start your own YouTube channel, because especially like the diaspora, and many of you in this community and on this live stream are part of the Jamaican diaspora. You'll probably want to see them more than you want to see me, and like understand like their life and what they go through on a day-to-day basis. It's much more, what would I say, closer to home, if you will, and much more like authentically Jamaican. I'm not saying that I'm not Jamaican or anything like that, but I am born and raised in New York. But seeing, and like I've seen it work for other people and other YouTubers out there who have these channels that are doing exceptionally well. And it'll be like somebody cooking, somebody farming, a mason building a wall, building a house, and these guys are getting tens of thousands of views. And it's there. It's not something, again, that's going to happen overnight. You have to put in the work. You have to learn different skills. You have to be patient about it, but the opportunity is there. There are so many people that are doing well and are making far more on YouTube AdSense alone than the average wage here in Jamaica. So please, a young person listening to this, you can do it. I'm doing it. I'm losing money every day. I tell my team this with Thought Media, but eventually we will make money. But you don't have to do it to my level. Obviously, you don't have to do what I'm doing, but you as an individual, your life is unique and interesting as it is. Even just, I tell them, going to the grocery store and going grocery shopping and documenting that experience is a big part of, I would say, a high level of interest. As simple as that sounds. But thank you for that comment. Let's see what we got here.
Also, I'd like to say, regarding even the discussion we were speaking about with the housing, we would appreciate if you leave a comment with your own opinion. We do like hearing from you to kind of get your perspective on things. Hopefully, we've kind of done the conversation justice.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think we've left out something or you feel strongly about something, do leave a comment. Also, like, subscribe to the channel. We do
Appreciate it.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely, definitely.
Look like you're planning on going into hosting soon.
Well, somebody in the comments said that everybody on here should have a YouTube channel. They would subscribe
Mm.
and watch. So, all right, I think Sandra is ready. Oh, she is. Okay, and we're gonna bring her on. Hey, Sandra.
Hi.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us today,
Yeah, thank you
especially
for
last minute.
having me.
Absolutely. Did you catch any of the previous discussions that we were having?
Yeah, some of it,
Okay.
a little bit. The part about persons, some persons are a bit scared to buy property in Jamaica and so on.
Yes, 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 pretty much. So, so basically, I just want to bring context, just so we're all on the same page here, and then I would like you to introduce yourself as well, Miss Wisdom. And so, basically, the discussion opened up here with it was based on a video that I put out last week, which is a clip of real estate a real estate agent who was just explaining, I would say, and also educating and enlightening us on the real estate boom that is happening here in Jamaica, and really encouraging people who are watching and also at my investment conference to get in on the boom that's happening and getting on the wave that's happening before it's too late. And it was met with, to my surprise, with like really overwhelming, I would say, negative, pessimistic comments about the housing market and more in Jamaica, and more particularly about the affordability of housing for the average Jamaican. And before you came on, we were just having a discussion of getting the thoughts of Candice, Ramon, and Chad, who I have here, on their perspective as young people, on how they felt and perhaps even their friends felt about the prospect of owning a home in their future and reaching their financial goals. So we also put out a survey that kind of gave us, I would say almost a split decision, if you will, on the outlook of Jamaica and their financial future. You know, optimism as opposed to pessimism. And so what I saw in the comments was, I saw like a lot of, I would say, fear in a way, and a lot of like, this can't happen for me and this won't happen in my lifetime. The system is against me, and with what I'm earning, it's not going to be possible. And essentially, that's what we had a discussion on. And I would, and I thought it was also so important to bring on a professional like yourselves to kind of bring us perspective and really keep it real with us on what's happening and what the possibilities and likelihood of owning a home is for the average Jamaican. And lastly, we did bring in the advent of NHT, but please feel free to take it wherever you'd like, Miss Wisdom. So no further ado, if you could just introduce yourself, and you can take it anywhere you like.
Okay. So, good afternoon again, everyone. My name is Sandra Wisdom, mortgage officer, National Commercial Bank. Um, I have been in banking for 22 years, sitting in various positions. And as you know, the mortgage, the construction industry on a whole in Jamaica is booming, and so is the mortgage industry. We offer mortgages for both local and overseas customers. We There are persons who have this perception that only Jamaicans can benefit from the joint financing that the banks have with NHT. Overseas persons can benefit too. The process is simple if you have a qualified person dealing with knowledgeable person also. As with buying a house, it is not a 1, 2, 3 process because it involves many persons. So you have the banks, you have the attorneys, you have the realtors, you have the developers. So persons might be a bit overwhelmed, persons overseas might be a bit cautious, and some persons are fearful, saying that probably they there will be scam, there will be conned, persons will not tell them the truth. But if you deal with a financial institution, everything has to be in black and white, and everything has to be accounted for, and you don't have to worry. So this afternoon, I'm here to allay all your fears, to tell you how easy the process is, to break it down in bite sizes, and you won't feel so overwhelmed when I'm finished. Trust me.
Okay, excellent. And so,
Are there any questions before I start to really go in? What I'm really going to do this afternoon is really to tell the persons on the live, what do you need to qualify for a mortgage with NCB?
okay, and
So,
I would
okay.
say, like, for the purpose of this discussion, is I would
Mm.
say it's really being catered to and looked at from the perspective of a young person, and we really want to dive into a situation of the average Jamaican, and the average Jamaican being put in a position to putting themselves in a position to qualify for a bank loan, and what they would have to do, how much they need to earn. I don't know if you can speak to like starter homes and that sort of thing, or more affordable homes, because we're not really talking like $40 million homes at this point.
Oh, you're not, okay, got you.
Right.
So we are
Even though that,
catering for the young persons
I
in
would
their
say so.
20s
I would
and
say so.
early 30s.
Right. For the purposes of this discussion, although the majority of the community here is the Jamaican diaspora, and many of them are looking to move back to Jamaica and looking to invest in Jamaica. But we can talk about that and address that maybe at a later time and invite you back. But like, for the purpose of this
Yeah.
discussion, like, we want to get understanding for young people.
Right. So I will just go into today what they really need to qualify for this loan. Because my experience with the younger persons is that most of them, when you speak to them, after speaking to them, really, they really get an understanding of what they really need. So most of them had a different perspective of what they need. Some persons would have qualified, but they just thought in their self that probably this is not for me, I can't afford it. And so I'm going to get into the things they need first of all to get this mortgage.
Okay.
All right. So the first, okay, at NCB, in order for you to be pre-approved, you have to be a customer with us. That's the first thing. So we would ask you to open an account. Now, if you're not in Jamaica, it can be opened in absentia. But what we would do is email you the documents, you get them completed, get them notarized, and then you FedEx the originals to us and we open the account if you're not here. But luckily, most of the customers, they will come to Jamaica from time to time. So what we'll do, we give them the checklist of the things that they need beforehand. And then when they come into one of our branches. We have 30 branches. So we have a branch in every parish. So they can visit the nearest one and get this account open. Now, what do you need to open the account? You need your ID, you need 2 pieces of identification. You need a job letter or a pay slip, that is your proof of employment. You need a proof of address, your driver's license that you have with your current address on it, that can be used as your proof of address also. You need 2 references. You can get 2 references from an existing NCB customer. Now, this customer that you're going to use as a reference, they don't have to sign anything. You would give us their name and their phone number, and we will call and verify. You can also get a reference from your bank overseas. You will need, the documentation we'll give you if you're not here is the personal relationship form for you to complete and sign. We need your social security. If you don't want to give us your social security card, a copy of it, we can ask you to sign a 999 form. So that's basically what you need to open the account. So 2 IDs, proof of income, proof of address, 2 references. If your name is different on the documentation that you present, we might ask for your birth certificate. Also, if you got married and your documents don't display your marriage name, we might ask for your marriage certificate. So the process is not really hard. It's easy. All right. For the after you open this account now, we will proceed with the pre-approval. Now, our pre-approval lasts for 90 days. So when we ask you for these documents and we do a pre-approval for you, if you come back with the property documents to us within that 90 days, we don't ask you again to give us your pay slip and your job letter, because we would have already have those and you would have been pre-approved. So for the overseas customers now, and as we need for the mortgage, we need an employment letter detailing your length of employment, your emoluments, your employment status, whether you're permanent, contract, or temporary, and your position. We need your salary slips for the last 6 months and bank statements to which your salary is deposited, displaying the last 12 months of activity. 2 years, your last 2 years income tax return, and your credit report. And the credit report that we ask you for, it must be issued within the last month. It must include the information on your payment history, delinquency, credit cards, non-performing loans, etc. If you're self-employed now, we need your current audited financial statement or your last 2 years tax return, an auditor's confirmation of your income, 12 months bank statement on your personal account, and 24 months on your business account. So that's basically what we need to pre-approve you. When you email these documents for this pre-approval, we do our assessment and you're issued with a pre-approval letter. Now, for the income, for a person earning, depending on if you don't have any other liabilities, because I have to specify that, because if I tell you you're earning 150,000 Jamaican dollars for the month, the equivalent, or 200, you can buy, for a starter home, normally the starter homes are like from the developers like Gore and Chemtech and Wicon will have houses that we call starter homes, because they're between 18 to 22 million dollars for one of these houses. So we find that most of the young persons, they will buy these houses because these are what they're qualified for. So
And
average.
can you just tell us what you have to do as far as income, assets, or whatever to qualify for a loan on
All
one
right.
of the starter homes?
So basically, as long as you're employed, so as long as you're permanently employed, you can qualify. Because the thing is, as long as you're employed, you're gonna give us your pay slips, and we will peruse them and tell you how you stand from there. Because it all depends on where you're buying. Because we give you up to age 70 to repay the loan. So if you are in your 20s or you're 30, you get 40 years to repay the loan. So you get a longer time. So because of this longer time, the monthly payment is smaller.
So how much would you have to earn? What would be the minimum that you'd have to be earning to qualify for one of those?
I can say just off the top of my head, because as I was saying, I can tell you 200,000 Jamaican. However, when I look at your credit report, you have other liabilities coming out. So probably you don't qualify. So it is relative. So if it is that you, and it is, you barely find somebody who does not have a credit card, does not have a loan. So if you don't have any of those and your salary is 200,000, because you're looking at a mortgage now, if you're looking at a mortgage for 20 million, or you're looking at 100 or something thousand Jamaican dollars per month for that loan.
So what if you don't make that much money? Like how, like, so that's why I'm asking you, like, what is like the bare minimum that you have to earn? And I would even say, to me, 18 million is a lot for a starter home. I would say, like, if we were talking about like an NHT house.
No, but if you, no, the thing is, if you're buying an NHG house, like NHG has a scheme, you don't need to go to the bank because you can get everything from NHT. So that's a
Oh, okay.
difference.
I see.
So,
I see.
so this is how the joint financing works with us. So you see a house selling. So NHT does joint financing with the bank. We have an arrangement with NHT, so the customer does not have to go to NHT. They come straight to the bank. We give them a checklist of the things they need to give us, and then they send an eligibility letter. We request an eligibility letter straight from NHT for them. When we get that letter, the average person will get $6.5 million from NHT. They also get 325,000 extra on that 6.5 to help with the mortgage related costs. So at NCB, we use that 325,000 extra that they get on the 6.5 to offset their commitment fee. So depending on the property you're buying, you wouldn't pay any commitment fee out of your pocket, because that 325 extra that NHT gives you on a 6.5, we use that to offset the commitment fee. So we write, so you're getting one mortgage, but it is divided in two. So the NHT portion carries a different interest rate from the NCB portion, but you're buying one property.
Got it.
So this is how it works.
So, for instance, Gore has a development in
Mhm.
Greater Portmore that's going for, well, phase one is 14.5 million,
Right,
and phase two, I believe, is 15.5 or 15 million, around there. Um,
right.
what, so given that that is, on the lower side compared to like a 18 or 20
Like
million
a
dollar
8, yeah,
house,
or 20, yeah.
if I'm making, say, I know this is like going in the numbers, but you gave
Mhm.
an example of 200,000. What if it's on the lower end of, say, 100,000? Um, what would the mortgage look
Do
like?
you have, yeah, yeah, I can tell you that, but do you have any other liabilities?
Okay, so this is the perfect candidate. No liabilities, no credit
All
card.
right, good, good. Let me tell you what the mortgage will be. Let me just tell you. Because you see, I have to drop that in, because a lot of times the customers come to us and they will tell us, even on the phone, they will tell us, I don't have any other liabilities. But then when we do the credit check, we see other liabilities popping up.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you have, I'm the calculator is coming up, so I'll tell you the payment shortly, because it all comes down to the payment.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. It all comes down to the payment and the affordability.
And I'll just hop in while that's calculating. So
Mhm.
I'm seeing just like a lot of comments in about the process and why is it so laborious, why is it so bureaucratic to open up a bank account. So I always say this in terms of these systemic norms that are here in Jamaica. Like if you want to open a bank account, these are the list of requirements. Oops, sorry, whoops, I'm going all over the place. These are the list of requirements of to open up this account. If you want to invest in the Jamaica Stock Exchange, which is one of the best performing stock exchanges out there, These are a list of requirements. You want to open a business and you get your TCC and your business license. These are a list of requirements. It is what it is. I say this all the time. There is nothing we can do to change it. We can complain about it, but there are many, many, many people who are winning in big ways in this system that have gone through this same process, that who have got the JPs to sign, they got the recommendation letters, they put in their IDs, etc., etc., etc. Now, if you want to make that a hindrance as to why you don't want to come into the system and why you don't want to be a part of the banking system, that is your choice. That is 100% your choice. There's nothing we can do about it. And this to me is just like, why are you complaining about a system? And is it annoying? Yes. Is it easier in the US? Yes. This is not the United States. We're not there yet. And a lot of it, unfortunately, goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the scamming situation. And many of these bureaucratic measures are put in place because of scamming. If I could go into the loops that we have to jump through to do certain transfers and to do this and to do that, even as a business, it's incredibly annoying. But it's just the system that's out there, and then we have to go through it. I mean, we can fight and gripe about it here and there, but like if we want to accomplish these things and be a part of this financial system and take advantage of certain opportunities that we have here, these are the requirements. These are the rules of the game. So I would encourage those that are out there that are frustrated by the requirements and are mad about it or whatever have you. It's just think that there are other people who are already in the system, who are doing well and have gone through that one-time hurdle. You only got to do this once to open up the account, just one time, and then you're good to go. So I would just encourage you to like shift your mind a little bit as it relates to going through what some may consider arduous bureaucratic measures to open up an account. But I guess I've been here this long. I'm kind of used to it at this point.
Let me jump on that too. It sounds like a lot. I not long ago, like less than 5 years ago, opened my NCB account, and it seemed like you needed a bunch of information. But once you have your source of income, proof of address, which for us Jamaicans, it's on your ID. If you have your driver's license, not tax, the voter's ID or your passport, you could go in with that. And two persons that are part of the bank, or most Jamaicans know a JP. You put the number down. I got through in no time. The hardest part was actually getting to go up to the desk to talk to someone, and that wasn't even that hard either. And on the flip side, I tried to open a few bank accounts in the US, and for me as a non-US citizen, it was harder for me to do it there than here. So here I could simply just walk into a bank and open a new bank account once I have two references. But in America, I had to go through more loopholes, if you want to call it that. It's all perspectives. For me, I might say the same thing looking at the American system as a non-American citizen, while other people will look at Jamaican system and say the same thing. But it is what it is, and we just have to conform to the requirements of each country and institution. So
Yeah. Well
For me,
said.
oh sorry,
Yeah.
for me, I don't necessarily have an issue with the bank system. I just have one answer. Like, what about persons who don't have a job?
You're
I
breaking
don't.
up.
You're breaking
Uh,
up a little bit, Ramon.
are you hearing me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hearing you now.
Yeah, I'm saying, what about persons who don't have an income, and would like to and would like to open a bank account because
We have we have if the person is unemployed, we have a document in the branch where you can go and get it certified by a JP to say that you're unemployed. But that's for the local persons.
yeah,
I've never
local
had. Yeah,
locally I
man,
mean.
there's a document in the branch, and
Okay.
even there's a special type of account for persons who are getting money in their they're gonna get their salary in their account, and also local persons can open their NCB accounts online.
Okay.
It's just because of the, as you say, the scamming, why the banks are so strict with the overseas persons
I understand the overseas, but
and the, yeah, and the money
uh,
laundering.
I understand all of that. I'm just saying, like for instance, like back, like some time back then before I started working,
Yeah,
um, I can say that I had a hard time to open an account because I didn't have a salary or
yeah.
proof of income per se. So that's why
But
I'm
did
saying
you?
that.
Okay, okay. It was at NCB.
Not necessarily, but I
Okay,
heard
okay,
from
okay,
a lot of
okay.
persons
I
that
like
have the
let me
same
clear the
issue.
air.
I heard from a lot of
Yeah,
persons that had the same
I
issue.
noticed first. I want to say something before I forget. The calculator is still coming up because probably I'm working remotely and the offsite, the Excel is still loading. So while it loads, I see where persons are saying with the mortgages, if you're buying from a new development, like you're buying from Gore or one of those developers that I called, if the house is not ready, the mortgage cannot be disbursed. So if it is that they took, you made your deposit, we do everything and we issue that letter of undertaking. That letter of undertaking has a list of things that you must provide before the bank pays. One of those things is certificate of practical completion. So if the property is not ready, we can't disburse the money to them. So probably it will take even a year before you get that house if you're buying from a new development. I have some more than a year now and we can't disburse because the apartment is not ready. I'm told that the titles have not been splintered as yet. And on the open market too, when you're buying a house, if there are breaches on the property, we must get an undertaking for the breaches to be corrected, and that is to protect you, the customer, before we disburse. Everything has to be in order. If there are caveats, everything has to be in order before the bank will disburse that money. So these things, so the average time, the for a land transaction with no hiccups, we're looking at 2 to 3 months. That's the shortest time. Somebody is asking in the chat, what is the profile of a person buying the overpriced new developments in Kingston? That's a hard one to answer because I don't know. Overpriced is relative. I don't know why you say it's overpriced. I don't know what you call it overpriced. If you could specify what you mean by overpriced.
Why don't we do like one of those? I would say one of those $40 million
All
apartments.
right. As soon as the calculator comes up, it's spinning, still spinning, not responding. As soon as it comes up, I'll go in and tell you.
All right. So a couple of questions. So somebody asked, how does the W-9 work in lieu of a social security number for diasporians?
No, so we, all right, just like in Jamaica, we would use your TRN. So if you're an overseas customer, we will use your social security. If you, some persons don't have a social security card, they know the number. So we ask you to complete the double nine and we take that in lieu of the social security card. But we need your social security number if you're an overseas customer. You also need a TRN, not to open the account though, but whenever you're doing any land transaction in Jamaica, TRN is required.
Okay. And Gail is asking, what score are you looking for? What if you have a low credit score? I'm assuming she's talking about.
Now, if you have a low credit score, there must be a reason why you have a low credit. It can be two things. You don't access a lot of credit, so probably you need to get a credit card and start building your credit. Because as long as it is below good, if it's good and above, the bank won't have a problem. But if it's below good, they will have a problem.
What do you consider a low credit score or below good?
In the 500s,
Oh,
500 and something. Yeah,
yeah, that's not good.
that's not good. So
Yeah.
what this is for the overseas person. So somebody's asking what credit score. So if you're overseas and we ask for your credit report, that's one of the things we look at on it. We look at your credit score, and we look at if the liabilities that you have open, if you pay them on time. And we look at the same thing for your Jamaican. For those who are in Jamaica, we look at the same thing. And that is the premise on which a bank assess a person they're lending, because we want to make sure that you honor your obligation.
Right. I think that's fair and that's universal. The having good credit is
Let's see,
important.
the other is still spinning robot or your system should be loaded by now.
I think this is the
That's
this is
true. I have to agree with this person.
wait, which one, what are you saying?
Yeah,
What did they
said
say?
it. The thing, the system should be loaded by now. It should be, but it's not.
Okay. Well, I'll keep asking you questions from the comments while it loads. Over 40 years, John American says, "What is your down payment percentage?"
For we do 90% financing for the overseas persons.
Okay. And what about local?
We for the local persons we do 95, and we can do 100 too.
Okay. And what do you have to do to qualify for 100% financing? What kind of mechanism or position do you have to be in to do that?
You're really your salary really, and we really look at your salary, and there are also drawbacks with the 100%. There are also some conditions that some persons will forego. So they will tell you they'll take 95 instead. As
Mhm.
if you have any history of delinquent or bad debt, you can't get 100%. If it depends on the if you work with a employer that is not on our list of qualified employers that we will take a salary deduction from, you can't get the 100% either. And if your score, when we score you, your debt service ratio, all right, the calculator is up now, you wouldn't be able to get the 100% either.
Okay. And quickly before you get into the calculator, Kevin Gaynor ask, are they asking for an Equifax or TransUnion Union credit scores for
Any
over?
one of them, any one of them we accept.
Okay. All right. Great. So yeah, if you would, you can hop into
All
the
right,
calculator.
ready now. So the person is, we're going to say that the person is 29 or 30. So the house that Gore is selling is 14.5, right? And you want 90%. Is the person taking their NHT, Candice?
Yes, and
So you're
let's
getting
just say that they get the
6.5,
month. Mhm.
right? So it's, so you see how, right? So we give you the maximum time, 480 months, and we're using 4%. So the mortgage is 79,806.11 per month. Call it $80,000 per month. So we give you a
And so,
90%. That's 13. That's when we add the 325 to it, it's 13,375,000.
okay.
But
Right.
would that be allowed to have that much of your monthly salary be dedicated to a mortgage payment?
No, but this is a small amount. This is $80,000. So that's why I said probably, so a person earning $150,000 per month, if they don't have any other liabilities, they can qualify for this mortgage.
No, I thought you said 100,000.
Yeah, 100,000.
No man, the monthly payment for the loan.
No,
No,
no.
a
No, man,
hundred.
the salary, the
No,
Earning
salary, the
100.
earning
salary.
If it was
100,000.
18 million, if it was 18 and 20 million, it would be $100,000 per
No, we're
month.
saying the salary. The salary is 100,000.
Or the salary is 100,000.
Yes.
Yes.
No, this would be close, because you have to factor in this 80, and then you would have to factor in the the monthly expenses of the person. So the person must have monthly expenses. But they
traveling
must
Right.
and
do right. So it would need to be at least 120 to 150,000 per month.
Okay.
Oh,
So we'll stick with this example, and then I want to move on to another one.
Right.
Wh-
So
Um.
give
So
me the
what
other
if it?
example now.
What if it? No, same example. But what if it was a couple that was married? Would you be able to use both of their salaries to qualify for that mortgage?
Sure. Will both of them be taking their NHT?
yeah.
All right. So it's gonna get even cheaper, right? So both of you taking your NHT. So, but in this case, if both of you taking the NHT, you might not need the bank because if both of you take your NHT, you'll be taking 13 million. So
oh,
there's nothing for us to finance. Yeah.
so what if we try to get the balance finance through NCB? So the 13 million covered the um, parts from the 13 million from NHT is used
Mm-hmm.
to make the mass of the payment on the house. What
Mm-hmm.
about the 1.5? Could we
No,
get that through?
you won't have 1.5 left because
Well, plus the
no,
closing.
you wouldn't have any to take from us again. If you take because NHT give you 13 million and then
Mhm.
You
you
pay the
would need
deposit
a deposit of like
10%.
5%.
10%,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're gonna need a deposit. So you wouldn't need a bank. You wouldn't need any of the commercial banks if this is the case.
Okay. Can we go into the example of the 100,000? Like what in the sense that what would somebody who's earning $100,000 a month, what
What
type of
price
home?
house would they
Right.
qualify for?
Right.
Mhm.
All right. And this is without any NHT, right?
No, no, with
Just
NHT.
within, yeah.
You want NHT in it?
Yes, please.
Oh, and the persons on the live, for those who probably you worked in Jamaica before and you paid your NHT, what you can do to still qualify for your NHT benefit is the time when you stop working, you pay the NHT from that time and keep it current, and you still qualify for your 6.5. Because I have several overseas customers that I give a mortgage and they take their NHT benefit and take the rest from us. Because you can contribute as a voluntary contributor and still get your benefit. So, all right. So, what remind me of the price house again?
No, I was. That's what we're
Uh,
asking. Is somebody who's earning 100,000 a month,
All
what
right, let me
price
tell
house would they
you.
qualify?
All right, so I'm going to be finding. Let me put up 12 million. So say for instance the house is 12 million. So you would take 6.825 on the NHT side, 4.3 from us, making it a total of 11.125. The payment for that mortgage, the monthly payment would be 62,190.22
And
for this
that's
person.
and
Six,
that's okay in terms of like debt to credit ratio.
yes, depending and I keep saying this. So if the person does not have any other liabilities,
Gotcha.
yeah, but we always use a figure of because we always use 120,000 per month to 150 as a minimum qualifying salary for a mortgage.
But it right.
But this
So
person is 100, because of the price of the house, they could qualify if they don't have any other liabilities. If they don't have any other loans, they can have a credit card with a low limit on it and still qualify.
okay. So I guess two points is that if you do find a home that is even what I think you said, how much you say, 12 million?
Yeah, that's 12.
All right.
That's
So
12
even if
or
you did find a home that was less 12 million or even less, that you could still qualify for financing as long as it's within your budget.
Mhm.
all right. So let me if it is the house is the house is $20 million now.
Mm-hmm.
Um the mortgage payment will be 118,561.06. It's for
Mhm.
20 million.
So obviously that's
Right. So the
unaffordable.
salary has to be more. Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say like for I think Candice, is the average salary in Jamaica 90, was it 90,000 that we looked up?
96.
Okay, so we looked up the average salary in Jamaica is 96,000. And what would you say to a person that is the average Jamaican earning the average salary? Like, what would you say to them in respect to trying to put themselves in a position to afford a just to afford a home? Put it that way, because you said the bare minimum is 120 to 150 is kind of what you normally deal with. What would you advise somebody who is not in that bracket at this point in time? Did you hear my question? I think she's frozen. Are you there, Sandra?
Yeah. I'm
Did you hear my
here.
Did you
I
hear my
was
question?
frozen. No, I was frozen.
Okay, all right. So you didn't hear my question?
No, I didn't hear it. Go
Okay,
ahead.
I'm sorry. Okay, so my question was, what would you advise somebody? The average salary in Jamaica, from what we looked up, is 96,000 per month, and what would you advise somebody who is not in that bracket of that you normally deal with, that is between 120,000 and 150,000 per month? What do you say to them, or even people who are earning less than that?
Oh, I do this every day. So I say different things to them. First, I ask them if they have anybody who they can join with. And then I will ask them, can you find something cheaper? Can you find a cheaper house? So those are the two main things I ask. They can, because if you can join with somebody, both of you take your NHT and you take the rest from the bank, it will be a bit more affordable.
And when you say join with somebody, is this
So you have two persons, so we use two incomes.
so does this what does that relationship have to be? Does it, are we talking about a friend, a brother,
No,
part?
it doesn't. It depends on you because it can be a friend, it can be a spouse, can be a cousin, but you and the person would have to come to a mutual agreement and say, okay, we're gonna buy this house in both our names.
Got it.
Um, it's, the comments in the chat are quite interesting.
Right. Yeah, this is a very lively and engaged group, and very informed and educated, I would say, also say.
Yeah, but and I must say, the 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 persons overseas, I have a lot of overseas customers. 50% of my portfolio consists of overseas customers. A lot of them will say they didn't know they could do this. Um, they didn't have anybody to advise them. And when they finally get the house, some of them are so happy because the house is a form of investment. So it generates, I have customers who it generates a lot of income for them. That same property that we give them the mortgage to buy. Consider you bought, if you know a development like Richmond Estate, if you bought one of those houses from it was $17 million. Just check how much income you're making from that time until now and how much it is worth now. Just for argument's sake. Even the houses in Draxall, yeah. So it is a good look. And I'm happy that we're able to facilitate the overseas customers because most of them did not know that they could get a mortgage in Jamaica with
Mhm.
their income that they earn overseas.
I gotta. This question keeps coming up. Do you give construction loans, and what percentage of the construction costs?
No, we don't do residential construction. What we do, if we give you a mortgage for a property, right? And this property is so this we give you a mortgage for a property, and this property needs cosmetic repairs or some renovation. After the mortgage is disbursed, we can give you a construction loan up to $10 million to do all of the cosmetic repairs and the renovation on the same property. So we'll give you this loan where you pay interest only when the construction is being done, and then we convert it to a mortgage after everything is done. So that is what we can do for the persons taking a mortgage. But we don't, if you buy a piece of raw land and you want a construction loan to build from the ground up, we don't do that anymore.
Got it. Do we have any other examples before I go into the comments? Did you guys want to?
Um,
Oh,
so
somebody's asking
say
if the interest is fixed, but we don't. No, our interests are variable, but the our mortgages, the interest is fixed for the first 3 years of the loan.
Okay, that's good to know.
so I've seen some institutions advertise that they offer like a saving plan toward home ownership. Does NCB offer something similar? Say I'm making a set amount of money, but and maybe in 5 or so years I wanna own my own home, but right now I wanna put stuff in place. Do you offer a sort of saving plan per se or investment plan that I could use to help 5 years or so down the line, and some consultation to help me get knowledgeable about, home ownership on along that sense?
Well, we don't have a savings plan specifically for the mortgage, but we have different saving plan. We have an investment arm that you can invest in bonds and stocks and instruments that will turn over quite a bit of money. So you save towards your deposit. But we don't have one specifically for that. But we have a myriad of instruments that you can save on. And some of them yield some good returns. So you can save on that, save your deposit, and then you buy the house.
Someone's asking what happens to the interest rate after 3 years.
It might go up to the rate that is prevailing on the market. So if you got or it might go down. So if you got the loan at 7% for argument's sake, and in 3 years' time, the rate is 7.5, yours will go up to 7.5. If in 3 years' time it goes down to 6.5, yours will go down to 6.5.
Gotcha. And what are the rates right now?
The rates right now, as you're aware, the Bank of Jamaica has given the banks an ultimatum. Everybody has to increase their rate. So the rate right now for the Jamaican dollar mortgage is 9.15. For the US dollar mortgage is 5.75.
Wow.
Mhm. And how much do you see that going up after the
Well,
implementation of the new
since
policy?
June, it was increased 4 times. That's why it is here now. Since the Bank of Jamaica made the regulation in May, it
Mhm.
was increased 4 times. I don't see further right now because,
Okay.
as you know, it's not up to us because we have to listen to the regulators. Because if we don't listen to the regulators, we'll be out of business.
Mhm.
So
Sad.
it's there. It seems like they're trying to slow down what's happening.
Uh, it's not really well. They,
As a
they
monetary
say they
policy.
want to increase the rate that we give on the deposits. So that's why. But not only that, we don't have any control because and my colleagues, the persons, Candice can tell you if you go to a development this month and they tell you that the houses are for 15 million and you go back 2 months time, it's a different price.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Can't really help it with inflation.
Exactly. Can't really help it. And the rates have been going up worldwide because persons who are in Canada and the US, then the rates have gone up there too, as
Right.
you can see in the chat. Any other questions? Anything else? Did I answer all the questions raised in the chat? All that I can answer, that is.
Right. Right.
Some of them I can't answer.
Yeah, they're coming in fast and furious.
Some of
Uh,
them fast and some of them I can't answer.
so this will be my last question unless anybody else has any.
Oh, I have one before you go.
Yeah.
Somebody was asking about the property tax.
Hmm.
What was it? Oh, it it moved. I didn't see it.
Oh, what's about property taxes and insurance costs? Is it that one?
Okay, all right. So for the mortgage, the pearl insurance is mandatory, but for we don't the life insurance is not mandatory. But the pearl insurance is a must. But we have our own in-house insurance that is cheaper than the one on the market. It is
And and that's the insurance on the mortgage itself, right?
no man, the insurance on the house. So
On
the
the
house
house.
has to be
Oh,
insured because remember, the bank will be taking this property as security. So as long as you have the loan, the bank has a lien on the property. The bank wants to ensure that if in the event of a hurricane, a fire, you will be indemnified. So you won't lose your property. So the pearl insurance is a must, but the life insurance is not mandatory. Only if you want to take the life insurance.
okay.
So hold on. I just saw somebody had a
So,
quick
oh,
question.
somebody was asking, does NCBC require 3 months reserve? Yes, we do. We still require a debt reserve account for the overseas customers because, of course, we have to mitigate against things like loss of income and cases where, because you're overseas, you probably can't remit the money for the monthly payment. So that is a requirement for us, the 3 months reserve.
And so my last question that I have is kind of the start of this whole conversation and why we got here, and also
Mhm.
some comments in here, is that this connotation that the system is against the average Jamaican, and that the likelihood of the average Jamaican owning a home is very low, and in the case of some of these comments, that it's impossible, and that the system is totally against the average Jamaican, and it's more geared towards foreigners. And how do you, what would you say to respond to these types of ideologies, if you will?
No, that ideology is wrong because most of the persons who purchase the houses in Jamaica are local persons. We have the NHT, we join with the NHT. We have made it so much easier because the mortgage market is booming. A lot of persons, a lot of young persons are owning their own home. If you should look back probably 10 years ago, most young persons didn't have a house. They didn't have a house till they reached 40. Now, the average person leaving university, working for 1 year, 2 year, they can buy a house. The only regret I have today is I could not bring on some of my customers to do testimonial so you can see what I'm talking about.
it's not too late. We can do that in the future and a
Yeah, but
future
I have to
live stream.
arrange with two of them. Yeah,
Sure.
I would arrange with two local customers and two overseas customers to do a testimonial. Let you see it's not hard. It's not hard. Not hard. It's just your mindset. It's not hard.
It comes back to what we were saying earlier,
It's just a
mindset.
mindset. It's like
Mhm.
you look over there and you say, "Boy, I will never own a car like that. I will never own a house like that." But you can do it. You can do it. A lot of persons will come to me sometimes, and I will make recommendations, and I say, "Okay, do this. You're not doing this right. Do that. Come back." And they take my suggestions and they come right back and they got their mortgage and they're
I think it's
smiling all the way to the bank.
mm, it could be also access to information, because if
Mhm.
we don't know, for instance, all this information that you're giving us, if we don't know about it, we wouldn't know we'll be able to
Exactly,
afford
but you
a home.
won't know if you don't ask. And a lot of
Mm.
times persons are afraid to ask, they're afraid to being turned down, and nothing is wrong with that. If you try the first time and you're not successful, you can try again. And I've always say to the young persons, you're not going to be in this position all the time. You're not going to be working that amount of money. You will be working more. You will change your job. You will get more money. You can afford two houses next time you come. So for me, and that is what I encourage them all the time, because I love when the young persons come and I love when they ask. I've had, I remember I did a mortgage the other day for a 22-year-old. He's from the US. And when I submitted his documents, the underwriter said to me, "But this guy is so young." And I said to her, "Don't be skeptical. He's young, but he's earning enough to qualify for this mortgage." And the mortgage was approved. 22 years old. He was working from he was 18 years old. So it can be done.
Yeah.
I have customers as far as from Australia, Kuwait, China. Some of them have they weren't born in Jamaica. Yeah,
So I guess one of the takeaway points here from what you're saying is that if you are a local person, especially a young person, and you are below that $100,000 a month, maybe way below, um, it's I would say to go in and speak to somebody like yourself and have them understand what the process is like, so you know exactly what you need to work towards, and don't look at it as a dire situation. Like you said, there is mobility, upward social mobility in this country. This is not a communist country where you're born into a caste system and you're always going to stay there. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I'm also encouraging you not to give up and not to have a defeatist attitude or a defeatist mentality. And to me, this is like it's something to work towards, and earning a higher salary is a big part of this. It's a very, very big part of this, and also staying financially out of debt as well. That's what I'm also getting from you as well, Mr. Is knowing that, man, if you get that credit card and that loan, it's also going to put you in a pretty bad position. So it's also encouragement. What I'm from hearing from you is to live within your means and to put yourself in a position. And this kind of just showing me that there's possibility here. It's not This is not impossible, and I'm not, again, not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying, but also you can't tell me it's impossible either. They're asking for your contact information. Would you be able to give that? I'm gonna.
yeah. And there was a question that there is something that somebody said about the stamp office, the
Mhm.
lengthy process. But as I mentioned when I started, there are many players in the mortgage process. So first of all, let me just outline something. So you're buying a house on the open market. So you have an attorney and the other person has an attorney. So when you first you come together, okay, you're buying this house. So they draft up a sales agreement. So if you're not careful, the back and forth between the two attorneys and the sales agreement, it will take you 3 months to get that out of the way. The bank will want a surveyor's report, a valuation report. So these things take time. So you come to the bank, the loan is approved, and we issue the undertaking. Now, the vendor's attorney has to send these documents to the government stamp office. First, they have to send the sales agreement to be assessed. Then they have to send the cross stamp, the transfer and those things to be cross stamped. So these things are not within our control. It is within the attorney's control. So sometimes it will take you 7 months. That's a short time for some of these transactions that I have. Because as I mentioned before, if you're buying from a new development and the property is not ready, you can take. I have some here. I have one particular one. The undertaking was issued more than a year now and we can't disperse. The attorneys can't tell us when we're going to disperse either. The customers are still waiting. We just have to wait until it's finished because nothing will change. They won't have to give me any new documentation. So that's it for the time. But the time is lengthy, but the delays are not really on the part of the bank.
Gotcha.
And I am here to guide you because I know this process from start to finish. So that is why I'm here to to um to guide you and to tell you that okay, you don't have to worry. I'm here.
And can you give us your contact information,
All
please?
right. So my phone number is 876 366 0097. For persons who are interested, I can send you the checklist of the documents that you need, both the checklist to open the account if you don't have an account with us, and the checklist for the documentation required to get the mortgage, the documentation that I outlined before. And also, if you want to talk to me and you want me to give you some calculations so you know what figure you're looking at. All right. So that's 366. It's 876, of course, 366 0097. When you reach out to me on WhatsApp, correct. Reach out to me on WhatsApp, send me your email address, and I'll email you the checklist and we can take it from there. I see the comments in the chat. All right. Am I frozen?
No, I can hear you.
No.
Any other questions? 'Cause I think I've
I
said it all. Oh,
I
somebody's
think
asking about the closing costs on a loan for 300K US. You can reach out to me on WhatsApp and I'll tell you.
I think when Crop's frozen,
Mhm.
oh, he's gone for now. So it's just us. um,
All right.
let's see if we could find some
Inactive
questions here.
accounts for a period of time. So if you don't use your account for a year, it takes 1 year to be inactive and 2 years to be dormant. For those who are asking.
And
And
that's one question
yeah, somebody was asking.
for your NCB account to be
No,
dormant.
somebody else was asking my name, but my name is on the screen.
Oh, okay. Someone asked, is it
Somebody,
wise to be NHT voluntary
yes, it is.
contributor?
Yes, it is. Because NHG will give you 6.825 at 4%. That's the highest rate that NHT has is 4%. We do I don't know, somebody's asking remortgage. I don't know if it's a switch they're talking. Yes, we do switch. So we take over our mortgage from another bank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we do that too. It's so many things that we do because even the persons who have a property now and they want equity in it, we can give you a home equity loan for any legitimate purpose.
Okay. I'm just going through to see if anyone has a question that we haven't answered as yet. Because right now you've answered, because I know we spoke privately before and you answered a lot of questions to my specific
6 months
situation.
dormant
And
account
also
limit. Is it 12
answer,
months? I don't understand this question.
which question is that?
NCB told me 6 month dormant account limit. Is it 12 months? I don't understand.
Charles, can you, Chris Charles, can you rephrase that question, please? I think he probably is asking if it
Gonna put up a
takes.
commercial.
We're gonna go on a
Hopefully
little
this
swimmy
helps.
swim. Think I might try to get to the reef over there. It's like maybe 400 meters out or so. Haven't done that in a while. Might give that a go. But it's gonna be a relaxed one today. These are mornings in the grow. Let's do it.
I'm waiting for something to change. 'Cause when I'm not here, it's like I'm falling. And I don't know why I feel pain. 'Cause when I'm not here, I keep on falling. Yeah, I've been waiting in silence to see a little bit of fire, but all I see is you. Yeah, I've been waiting in silence to see a little bit of fire, but all I see is you. I keep looking, I keep searching. I need you to be around.
There's a turtle, but it's so much faster than me. Couldn't catch him. I think he likes those little jellyfish things. I don't know what they are, but I don't like swimming in them. But I think the turtle likes to eat them. I think they're like little jellyfish thingies. I don't know. Not too far back, too far out. The reef is over here somewhere. We're close. Morning, Billy.
So I feel safe and sound. Yeah, I keep looking, I keep searching. I need you to be around, so I feel safe and sound. I've been hiding out for days next to you. Until light. Yeah, I've been waiting in silence to see a little bit of fire, but all I see is you. I keep looking.
Alright, that was fun. Back to the program.
Hope you guys enjoyed that little break, that little swim break, if you will. Next up, we got some drone shots from a sunset, I think like 2 days ago or so. So a few more minutes, then we'll get back to the program here. Enjoy.
Hmm.
So we're back, but it's just the
Mhm.
two of us and you guys. This is that was a lovely commercial.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, makes me wish I knew how to deep sea dive, go snorkeling like that.
Still no trouble.
No, no, we caught you like in the middle of eating too.
Yeah, I was trying to finish fast, you know.
I guess they're having really bad technical issues. Like in the middle of talking, you're just like, oops.
Yeah, but the information was good though, especially from the NCB rep.
Yeah, it was good. What came to mind is that we probably should get ooh, thank you. I just saw the coming up on my hairstyle. I hope it's me. But thanks. um, what came to mind is we should get NHT or try to get NHT on to get in more information from them about what the benefits, the requirements,
Mm-hmm.
because apparently you can disqualify yourself, which is something I learned recently. I did not know this.
Mm.
Um, so to get more information on how you end up disqualifying yourself. Oh, thank you for the compliment. Yeah, we're running the show now, apparently.
Yeah,
Winthrop,
two new hosts.
two new hosts, yes. um, so, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just like scanning through the comments here. Um, when are we going to Negril to enjoy the scenery from Forever Hoodling? Is that I don't want to mess up your name. Forever. Um, whenever you're ready. Tropics is this November. We are gonna be in Negril, all of us that you saw here, plus Tamra, who you didn't see. So
Oh,
Mhm.
we'll meet
thank
you
you
in
guys
Negril then.
for holding down the fort.
No
No
problem.
problem.
We were just telling everyone that we can all go snorkeling and everything, meet up in the girl this November for
Okay.
Tropics 2023. So
All right.
that's when we can go.
Good. Did the video played okay?
It did.
Yes, it
It
did.
did. It looked good.
I just got that like last shot off before everything. Um, yeah, I think so. We still don't have we lost power, so we're just on a phone right now.
Okay.
So I think we got to end it there.
No problem. I mean, you did cut us like part way, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
Oh, sorry, in the middle of your thing. Oh, no,
Yeah,
keep
in the
going.
middle.
No, keep going.
No. Like earlier, we were channeling questions
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
comments to Miss Wisdom, and like, oops. But no worries, you gave us a good video to watch. It's snorkeling, I believe.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to leave it there. My data isn't working, and I'm using somebody else's data. So I'm glad that we you guys were able to hold down the fort. I can even see that you guys are talking. I thought it was like a blank screen.
Uh,
No, we were doing good. We were doing good as co-hosts. I hope. Yes.
yeah. Somebody was even asking us about our profession a while ago, I think, too, in one of the comments.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
okay. So I'm Candice, and
what's your
I'm the company admin here at Throp Media. And Ramon, you?
And I am Raman, and and I am the video editor slash cinematographer for Trap Media as well.
And we're the Throp team, or a portion of the Throp
Yeah.
team.
Chad is here too.
Yes, come in, Chad.
Oh yeah, you want to say what you do, Chad? Yeah. No, yeah, the mic doesn't work. Just
Okay. So I'm Chad. I am the photographer, video editor for Throp Media, and part-time host as well, I guess.
there you go.
Hi, Miss Perfectly Imperfect.
So yeah, I think we're gonna. I mean, I thought this was pretty awesome. I can't thank you guys enough for coming on and chat as well, and for sharing your perspectives as young people in Jamaica. And sorry I lost Miss Wisdom, but thank her as well for coming on and representing the NCB. And I think we all learned a lot here today, and hopefully brought some perspective to the conversation and the dialogue. And of course, letting everybody know that this is not a one-time conversation. I think this is a continuous dialogue that needs to be had. And as Miss Wisdom was saying, she wants to bring on people who she's worked with for testimonials. And I think that's a good idea. And I think we should bring on other people as well to continue this discussion. And maybe we get somebody, I don't know if they want to divulge that information, but, people who are below that income bracket that she was talking about, the 120 to 150 out there. I just saw some money come in. Thank you, Shayna Love Coaching. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
Thank you.
We're gonna use that and buy something for you guys. Drinks. Thank you very much, Shayna. I really appreciate that.
Oh, Winthrop, Candice was also saying that maybe it would be
Yeah.
good to have somebody from NHT to speak about
Mhm.
their requirements as well.
Yep, I think that's a good idea. Maybe we can work on that this week of getting somebody on here from NHT.
Yeah, we can work on that.
Okay. So yeah, if you want everybody in the comment section out there in the chat, if you want us to stay on this topic next week, we again, as I opened up with earlier, we have a whole healthcare program lined up as well. So maybe we take a poll and we see what everybody wants. We can put that poll out tonight or tomorrow and see what we want to discuss on Sunday, and we'd be more than happy to. Chris is asking, do these young people have only one job?
At the moment, yes.
But for me, no. But it's really one job still because it's the same job. Anything production.
No, not just one job. I think most Jamaicans are jugglers, right?
There you go. All right, so we're gonna leave it there. This was awesome. Thank you everybody out there for spending your Sunday with us. I really enjoyed the conversation, and again, thank you to the panelists, Chad, Candice, Ramon, and Sandra as well for hopping on. I think this is a great start, and I think this is an eye opener, and would love to continue to get deeper on the subject.
And tune in next week because I have opinions and they're strong. It's just it got cut off.
Thank you
Awesome.
guys for joining us this week.
Yeah, I wish I could
I'll-
give you the beach view. That's what we usually end with, but I guess I can turn the computer around.
Oh, thank you over 40 Jamaican for the super sticker.
Oh wow, awesome! I didn't even see that. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank you.
very much for the donation. It means so much. It means a lot.
Mhm.
And for that, got the beach view here. And sorry, guys, I'm going to cut you guys off so we can give them a better screen.
Sure,
All
no
right.
problem.
Okay. Thank you guys again, Ramon and Candice. You guys did an awesome job, and Chad as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll catch you guys in the comments on next week's live.
Yeah, definitely. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, everybody. Bye.
All right. Same to you.
Bye. Have a good Sunday.